Misa don't feel too well. Mr. Guado? What's happening, Mr. Guado?
So too soon.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Should we put up spoilers first?
Oh.
I mean,
Well, we could actually put that in like
towards the very end.
yeah, or
Okay.
at the beginning. Like we can like.
It's
record
not
some
like
stuff
everyone
if
didn't
you
know
okay.
that.
Okay, now they do.
just beep that part out.
Yeah.
It's not like they didn't know that everyone.
I'll just put like Starscream or something over it or something.
Yeah, all you hear is
Lord Megatron.
Lord Megatron, it is me. Okay. Well, guys, it's been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a little while.
It's been a fat minute,
Well,
man.
in the real world, it's been a while. We're back. It's me. You know the deal. Anthony Frazier from Movieman Productions. And I'm joined by my two boys.
It's your boy.
It's your
Ethan.
boy.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, fresh on the mic. It's Nathan Harriston. What a do, y'all? Why
Slash Aziz Ansari.
Why did it sound like Aziz Ansari?
Sometimes you do.
Kind of.
Do I just do that all the time?
I don't know.
I hope not. I don't want to sound
Why?
like
What's
Aziz
wrong with
Ansari.
that? He's
I just-
funny.
no, he's hilarious, but I don't want to sound like him.
Okay.
I want to be my own man.
What do you mean? You know, because he always does that shit.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, but yeah.
All right. Well, guys, we are back, like I said. And big thing we're going to be talking about today, Infinity War. Because we all saw it. We all had different experiences.
Many feels.
But before we get into that, a few things we want to kind of cover first. First of all, I'm going to ask you guys a question because I've been listening to all these albums lately, and I just want to hear your personal preference. What do you think if you had a choice for hip hop album that you would want to put down as one of the best? What would you say?
That's a good question.
Well, like I was saying earlier, he proposed the question. We're revealing our answers now, but I don't think my opinion holds a lot of weight because I don't listen to hip hop and rap all the time, just because that's not really the world that I'm involved in on a regular basis in the music world.
Right.
So for me, out of the stuff that I have listened to, for me it would have to be Straight Outta Compton.
Okay.
I mean, not only is it like a very infamous album, but all of the profanity aside, there is a very like serious overarching message to that whole album. And when it came out, that was like such a huge deal, and it has a lot of cultural significance with that whole thing. And I think we actually talked about Straight Outta Compton on an earlier podcast.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I think so, yeah.
I think I remember that
Like for a
happening.
little bit.
Yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
like
But so I think you've heard me say this kind of spiel before, but no, I think it's really important, especially with African American history in America and stuff. It's just, I don't know, when that album came out, there was nothing like it, and that's why I like.
Yeah, because they were telling the truth about what's going.
What's going on up here. And what's crazy is that it really, the young people at that time, it really reached them, and it wasn't just black people. It was black, white, Hispanic, whatever, Asian. I'm sure, it doesn't matter. Yeah. There was actually, I was watching James Corden's Late Late Show, and he had Jason Sudeikis on there, and Ice Cube was there also. Yeah. And Jason Sudeikis was saying about, he was like, Cube, I just want you to know that you were a huge part of growing up, because I think it was maybe when he was in like high school or something like that. Yeah. He was like, I remember when Straight Outta Compton hit, it was like nothing anyone had ever heard. And Jason Sudeikis is just like a white dude, and he was saying how like all of his friends were like learning the lyrics, and they knew all the words of the songs, and they loved it. So it really had an impact on everybody at that time. So I would have to say, out of all of the albums, I would say that's got to be in most people's top 5 for like influential.
100%. Yeah.
So that'd be my top pick.
I'm still thinking.
I have to go last.
I know. Okay, yeah.
Yours is shocking.
It's shocking.
I really
Could
think.
I guess it right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
You gonna say
Childish Gambino.
I don't like Childish Gambino. Well, I mean,
Kanye.
I don't not like
Is
him.
it Kanye?
But okay, Ethan, go.
Well, I'm
He's gonna guess it.
having like a really hard time trying to figure out which
Stop
one.
looking at me.
It is Kanye. It's gotta be Kanye.
Damn it! I've been saving this for 2 weeks. I'm surprised.
I ruined it.
Damn.
Oh my gosh.
Is it The Life of Pablo?
Stop.
Oh my God, is it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Ethan, go. Ethan,
Hold
go.
on, let me Google some stuff. You go ahead.
Stop Okay, you want me to just say it now?
No. We'll save it for last because it's a big deal.
Man, that's actually I didn't even think about Childish Gambino, but two of the main people.
See, that's what
for
because
me,
like this whole time I was thinking, I was like, Ethan's probably gonna pick him, but
Yeah.
you were. But then when I asked you earlier, it's like you weren't thinking about him. So I was like, oh, well, it'll hit him later.
well,
Digital Underground Humpty Dance.
Ooh, dude, that's a good one. Yeah, but I would have to say The Roots, How I Got Over.
Ooh,
The 2010 album.
Yeah, dude.
That's a
Okay, I didn't
really
know
good
about
album.
that one.
I love that album.
Did you hear the Roots' album with John Legend?
Wake Up?
It's so good.
That one's a good one too.
Oh my gosh, that album is amazing.
But at least for me personally, that one's one of my favorites.
Oh, yeah.
I have that in my car.
I didn't
and
even
play it,
I
think
know,
about
me
the
either.
Roots. Oh my
it's such a good
gosh.
album, and it talks about like that politicalness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the time that George Bush was getting out of presidency and Obama was coming in. So that came in.
George Bush doesn't like black people.
Yeah, we were talking about that today about Kanye.
Oh, man.
I think it was Katrina, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that one for me, at least personally,
That's a good
that's one of my favorite albums out there.
High five, Ethan.
Yeah, that's
Man.
what's up. Hey, but
Puts mine to shame. Actually, mine's
well, the way that I found that album is because of Fight Night Championship,
Oh.
and they played The
Oh,
Fire
yeah, you're right.
on there. And
That was on what's it called? Creed.
yeah. It's a good boxing
Yeah, it is.
song. But that one, I just like every time that I think about that song or just even that album, I think of like some good times that I had, and like it brings power to you even whenever you're listening to it, because it makes you realize and kind of actually think about just the society that we live into and like just some of the ideas that whether or not there are things that we can change.
Black Thought is one of the best rappers I've ever heard.
Did you see that 12-minute or 15-minute thing that he did a couple of weeks ago on Mix 98, Hot 97 or whatever?
I think so.
Yeah, dude.
That long,
The long list, yeah, dude, that was crazy.
Dude,
he is one of the best.
See, he gets overlooked so much in terms of great rappers. Like, I know I'm just like springboarding off of everything Ethan said because I'm kind of mad I didn't think about that.
Yeah, but no, he's one of the best though.
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, and he takes a little bit of what's great about all the other like legendary rappers and like.
Well, because the thing about rap is,
That dude can freestyle like a
nowadays people don't know what rap is. They're rapping about, I got all this money. I got
bitches give money on the streets,
Gucci gang,
bitch.
Gucci gang.
Oh my God, off that song.
But do they don't realize what rap is? Rap stands for rhythm and
Rhymes.
poetry.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where's the because we got some people, Kendrick throwing in poetry in this, Drake sometimes.
Chance the
Just
Rapper is
like-
another big one.
Chance is pretty good.
Yeah.
Or Childish.
Yeah,
Even
Yeah,
Gambino.
Childish Gambino, Logic will do it. Because that's what we're missing nowadays in rap. It's just like we're not telling stories. We're not.
I think that's why, like, whenever you have albums and artists like The Roots, like Chance the Rapper, like these people who have started going back to that rhythm and poetry kind of thing, I think that's why it's so refreshing. People like gravitate towards that so much, just because we don't get that nearly as much as we used to.
Right.
Okay.
Back in the day when like those groups were
Tribe
kind of
Called
like
Quest
everywhere.
and-
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wu-Tang,
yeah.
like,
Their new album. Oh my god, I love De La Soul. You guys ever listen to De La Soul?
bruh.
That man.
Who did MC Square? I forgot. Is that
Um,
it featured Common?
I don't remember.
MC Square.
that'll come to me later.
Yeah.
but
I love that song, man. That's a good song.
I guess I'll say mine now. So you guys ready for it?
Yeah.
I'll tell you after the break.
Jay Dilla.
That was the commercial break, Ethan. You just okay, and I know right now he's got a really bad. He's got a really bad rap with the black community right now.
Oh my God! Don't even get me started.
I think you just wanted to bring up Kanye.
No,
That's the whole reason
I
why
do.
we're talking about
I
this.
do, but I'm not gonna. Anyways, I want to say that College Dropout is literally one of the best hip-hop
Graduation.
albums. Get the out of here!
What?
Oh my god! Freaking! Oh, I cannot tell you how good College Dropout is. Oh my gosh! Because it starts off with this nice monologue.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say
He's like in boarding school, isn't he, or something like that? At the beginning.
I believe so. It was something like that. And then it's just progressing. It's just like, because it was the thought. It's just like the whole album is a thought. It starts off, it's like, oh man, I don't want to do this. And then, this is getting harder. And then it comes to a point, it's like, I wonder, what would happen if I dropped out? What would my life be like,
I didn't know that was how that. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like how the album's structured. And then
Right.
it's got some of the best freaking songs on there because he.
Would you say that that's the
mix.
best out of all of his albums?
I honestly would say so.
Because I really like
love
Beautiful Twisted Fantasy.
I do.
That
I do
one's
too. That's
very
a fantastic
melodical
album.
and just it's so
That's
superb.
actually my second favorite.
Yeah.
But College Dropout, I love it. 808s and Heartbeats, that's great too. Graduation, good. But it's just like
Scoop dee doo, scoop dee poop. Like no,
Oh my god, no.
that's where he's gone.
Yeah, because like
So sad.
Life of Pablo was all right. I didn't really get into that one.
I like the opening of it.
Yeah.
For that first album with Chance.
Yeah, but freaking, let me tell you, College Dropout has the best ending to an album ever. I swear, it's like this whole 12-minute song with he throws all the people that he had in the album on. It's song mixed with monologue, more song, and it's just kind of just telling you like just throughout this whole journey of this. And then Graduation is just kind of the sequel to it.
Okay.
But I've got to say, College Dropout. There's this one the song that he did with I don't know. I gotta look it up. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I think is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I was gonna look it up, but I don't want to waste you guys' time.
Is it Never Let Me Down? Is
I
it,
love that
Ooh, that
song.
one's
is
good
it
one.
is it Get 'Em High?
Oh,
Is
falls
it
down,
is it
down.
two words?
Let me see.
Is
real
it is
quick.
it
I have
Slow Jams?
Slow Jams? I do love that one.
Is
but
it Spaceship?
Spaceship's good too? Because
Is it We Don't Care?
Never
Please
let
just say
me
yes.
down? That's the one he did with Jay-Z.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the one? Yeah, I think Slow Jam's the one. Oh,
Slow Jams is Kanye West,
And
Twista,
Twista.
and Jamie Foxx.
that one's a good
I forgot
one
that
too.
Jamie Foxx sings sometimes.
I think that might be the one I'm talking about because this one guy. I mean, I think. No, it's not. I don't know. One of them just has this one dude. He's just straight up just poetry right there. He's just he's not even trying to rap. He's just spitting this poem about his life, and,
Right.
What the decisions that he made and all that.
Just a bunch of different stuff.
Yeah, and then like I said, I think Last Call is probably the best ending to an album ever. If I'm not mistaken, I think Bernie Mac did the
Oh,
intro
R.I.P. man.
to it. I think.
I love Bernie Mac, especially in the Transformer movie.
Oh yeah, he was
Oh
selling.
my
Hey, you want a car?
Yeah.
Sam, look at here.
Man,
I would love to buy a car from Bernie.
I know,
I know.
right? Yeah.
But yeah, so guys, okay, let's kind of segue into Venom now. Did you guys see the new trailer for Venom?
I did.
I think so. They played it
The new.
the
The
last
one that
time.
actually has Venom things
Yeah.
in it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I've seen that one.
I was talking shit about this movie, but honestly, I think I'm sold.
Honestly, okay, you and I kind of roasted this movie
Yeah.
a couple podcasts ago.
You guys did. Yeah.
And
This whack ass shit. Get it out of here.
here's the
Sam,
thing.
where's my car?
Here's the thing. Okay,
Get me
so
outta here.
I'll
Mama
say
mia.
I'll say this. I'm not completely sold because here's the thing. I've seen so many great trailers and then the movie sucks. I was very excited for Green Lantern and then look what happened.
We got Deadpool.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I mean, yes,
Something good did come
but
out
Green
of it.
Lantern could have been so great.
Yeah.
Green Lantern.
And here's the thing, Ryan Reynolds fits with that character as well. He could do that character
I
justice.
feel like it's the same character though.
I mean,
Whenever he's playing that,
the
it's
Green
just him
Lantern,
being snarky.
Hal Jordan
Yeah.
is also kind of just dismissive, snarky. Like I'm an ace pilot. I'm a badass kind of character.
See, but I never grew up with him. I always grew up with the
John Stewart, baby.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm ready for Black Green Lantern.
If we ever get another Hal Jordan, I wanted to be Nathan Fillion.
that'd
That'd
be
be
good.
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be good.
Because he played him in an animated film, and I'm like, wow. This
Batman
guy-
Ninja comes out next weekend.
It's already. Is it already out?
It's already out, but it's for
I don't know
public.
how I feel about that.
I'm
I like
interested.
animated.
It's
I'll
intriguing.
I'll
It's
see
intriguing.
it, but no.
I'll buy it.
But
I'll
okay,
watch it.
but with this Venom thing, the trailer looks fantastic.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold because the movie still could be bad. And even though the trailer has definitely it got me to want to go see the movie.
Do you think that we have an Andrew Garfield type situation on
well,
this?
I don't know cuz you can't make more than one movie. I
don't know about that.
cuz no one the reason why people like Venom is because of the reason that he fights Spider-Man.
Right.
And Spider-Man is nowhere in this movie. And it's just Eddie Brock dealing with the repercussions of being associated with this symbiote. Then
There's still that rumor though about Tom Holland being in it.
making an appearance.
Yeah, but I don't know. Okay, my thing was I was like, I'm not even gonna check this movie out. Seeing the first trailer, and when it was announced, I'm like,
When he had that- when he had that
Venom movie.
Yeah, when he had that seizure on that table.
Yeah, and then I saw this new trailer because this is what I was hoping to see. I wanted to see Eddie Brock and the symbiote have like internal battles with each other, you know?
Which is how it was in the comics.
Yeah, and that's just what I wanted to see. And his voice, oh my god,
Is also Tom Hardy.
yeah.
Oh, really?
Because I know, because like that's what I saw on IGN, but I'm like, that just does not sound like him. So,
They put him through like deep voice
Bane
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just gave him a cup.
But it's just like, man, like the voice sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Because I'm tired of having, because there's so many times I've heard Venom and it's just like, Venom.
Well, how
Like,
was
he's
it
a
in
little
Spider-Man 3? I can't remember that. I even watched
It was just
a couple of days
it was
ago.
Topher Grace's voice, but they did stuff to it like in this one.
Yeah.
But I actually kind of like it because since the symbiote has to bond to a host to survive,
Right.
it makes sense that it would kind of emulate its voice, but in this weird kind of alien-like way.
Right. And this
Yeah.
one actually looks terrifying.
It,
Like,
oh yeah.
if you compare it to like the Topher Grace one, it's uncanny. Like it has nothing to do with that. So
It looks more alien than
Yes,
the, like
much
human-like
so.
like
Yeah.
the Topher Grace one.
I saw
Yeah.
someone Photoshop Todd McFarlane style Venom on there next to the one that we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
I mean, they look the Todd McFarlane one because it's so like crazy and exaggerated and all that. And this one's a little toned down, but I mean, I still dig this one. I think he looks really good, and I like because it was going with what I was thinking. How he's like being hunted down pretty much.
Yeah.
Right.
And I can dig that for a Venom film. And we're wondering, who is he gonna fight in this? Woody Harrelson's casted in it. We don't know who he is. People are saying he's gonna be.
He wasn't in the trailer, was he?
No, he wasn't in the trailer.
Yeah.
But they say he's going to be Carnage. But I'm thinking all those other people that we saw get, who were being experimented on, they could be like coming after him too.
That'd be cool.
that'd be interesting.
And I'm so I'm actually excited to see how this will turn out.
Yeah. And actually, going off of that, like if Tom Holland is in the movie or makes an appearance, I think that would tie in everything a lot better. That would be really nice because I think they're synonymous with each other. But then also that goes into, I think for the new Spider-Man movie, they're trying to do the Sinister Six because we've already seen Vulture.
Well, you're talking about for the new one because I know they're trying to make a Sinister Six movie when they had Andrew Garfield's.
Yeah, they tried to do it because
that didn't work.
no, well, just because those movies, I mean,
The first one was good. The second one,
the first one.
I don't know about the second.
the second one was not good. The first one was good.
The second one was just too convoluted. And there's too much of a love story.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Little
Then they killed Gwen Stacy, which
okay.
even though that movie wasn't great, that scene still got me.
I know, dude.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Because that one was straight out of the
not
comic
right.
books. Straight out of the
could
comic
have
books.
just had. If he had more time, no, to catch her.
Speaking of comic books,
Oh,
I think the biggest comic book movie came out last week. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's called Infinity War. It was actually pretty cool. You may want to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's all.
You know.
Well, that's all we have time for today.
I will say tomorrow I think is like International Comic Day or something.
Oh yeah.
Like a free comic at like your own local comic store or something like that. So check that out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They usually give me crappy comics.
Well,
Yeah.
It's a free comic.
it's a
so.
comic. Get you reading.
Yeah, but
You guys know this movie made over $600 million in the first weekend.
Did you know I've never made that?
Well, I don't think I ever will.
I don't either.
well, I saw this thing. It was
Not
like
with that attitude.
It was comparing the opening of Infinity War versus like the whole time that Justice League was in theaters, and Infinity War just tore it to bits, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Oh man, did Justice League even hit the $600 million mark?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, they did. They did.
But it took like some weeks though, didn't it?
Yeah, it was domestic though.
Gosh. Oh, okay, yeah. Opening weekend, 600 over. Like I think it was like 640 or $50 million.
You guys think this is gonna beat Titanic?
I mean, it's already got the biggest box office
Did it
opening
beat
of all
Avatar?
time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think,
yeah, I think so.
Well, because I thought Force Awakens beat Avatar.
Well, this beat Force Awakens.
Oh no. And then Black Panther was like 5th
I think so.
right now.
Look it up.
I got it.
Okay.
We saw Infinity War.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna say is probably the Empire Strikes Back of our generation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I could
Yeah.
agree with that.
So first off, guys, what were your thoughts? Like just overall thoughts on it, without getting any spoilers quite yet.
Well, I've kind of already spoiled some stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, you did.
I know. I'm sorry.
You're the only
I'll take it
spoiling
out.
stuff.
You know what? I'll take it out. Beep. But you go ahead, Nathan.
I mean, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think much like, I mean, I like what you just said. I wasn't thinking about it in a Empire kind of way, but with Empire Strikes Back,
I'll get
you're
into why I said that.
you're then should I not say something? Because I feel like I might say something that will.
Just my whole Empire Strikes Back reference like that. Yeah. I'll get into that later.
Yeah. Well, like with Empire Strikes Back, the reason why that's my favorite Star Wars movie is because not only is it incredible as far as the story goes.
Yeah. Never mind.
But it. I knew it.
He's like, you're never gonna say what I'm thinking.
But
you guess Kanye.
Oh.
But not only is it incredible story wise, but it leaves the audience wanting more. Like at the end of The Empire Strikes Back, the heroes they kind of lost.
Yeah.
Like, Han is in carbonite. The Death Star, it's being created. Their base was destroyed and run over.
Yeah.
And they lost. And then at the very end of the movie, there's that great scene where Luke is getting his hand worked on. And then he, Leia, and I think R2 and C-3PO are looking out into space, like ready to figure out what their next step is to kind of overcome all this stuff. And I kind of felt that same way at the end of this movie because they don't win at all.
Right.
Like, by any stretch of the imagination, they completely just, it was nothing.
Well, they did that with like Episode 8 as well. And I think that we lost as a audience, but
Episode 8, I felt like I didn't have anything to lose in that, to be honest. I mean, because
they were riding on the high of it being.
I didn't like the movie, but this movie had more of an impact.
Yeah,
because because the thing, it's been
10 years,
10 years, and we finally see all our heroes together. Not all of them make it out, and then
possibly
because the movie it was just so action everywhere, and you're just like, oh my god, what's gonna happen next? And then you get to the end, you're like, oh man, what happens next? Then bum 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 bum, and then it just goes off. I'm like, whoa!
You were telling me in the car that whenever you were at your first screening, you were like, what? This movie's not over because everybody else is like, no, this can't be it, and you're like, it's not, and then that happened, to you. And then you were like, wait, what?
I know. I was like,
holy crap! No, you're fine, but. Yeah, no, I can totally understand that. Now, I saw it in 3D.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's talk about our viewing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
because
do you want to
we all
go
have
first?
different stories. Well, go with your 3D.
Okay, so I saw it in 3D. Okay. I was kind of disappointed. I was so happy that we saw it today, actually.
Well, I got that's a whole nother story. Okay.
What? Oh, well, yeah. No, today,
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really quick. So I just looked it up, and the movie is already at $900 million.
Wow. Oh my gosh. In the state or world or domestic?
I think
that's gotta be domestic.
That's global.
What?
That's still a lot of money, man.
And I mean, it's only gonna skyrocket from there because we're hitting the weekend. So.
Yeah.
And then it's only been out for a week.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it's expected to hit 1 billion by today or Saturday.
Wow. Fudge, man.
It's the 10th or 11th day of the release.
I'm calling it the biggest movie.
That's amazing.
This is gonna be Titanic, I believe.
I think so.
I think it's gonna be
Titanic. I just looked it up. Titanic. Well, okay. So the top movie is still Avatar.
Transformers, Revenge of the Fallen?
Jesus Christ. No, not even close.
What?
No, it's Despicable Me 3.
Okay. So Avatar.
I didn't know Avatar was number 1. I thought
Avatar.
Titanic was.
No, Titanic is.
It's something James Cameron. Okay.
Yeah.
Which I can't stand him right now, but that's another story.
Titanic is 2.1 billion. Avatar is 2.7 billion. Right under that is Force Awakens with 2 billion even.
Dang.
So, and that's obviously worldwide. So
yeah.
So Infinity War is gonna take that top spot.
Which actually, okay, so
wait, what's Avatar at?
Avatar is 2.7, but the domestic percentage of that is only 760 million. So it's already beaten out the top movie for domestic.
Okay.
Yeah, because I know where's Black Panther in that.
Black Panther's at number 9.
Okay, that's
1.3 billion.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of chunk change, dude.
Yeah. Man, Marvel, they killed it, man.
Yeah.
This is their year.
In the top
Yeah,
10.
they killed it.
Yeah,
They killed it.
They just needed 2 movies to just dominate the whole friggin' box office.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3. So far, Marvel has 3 movies in the top 10 grossing movies of all time.
That's a lot.
What are they?
This one makes 4. Black Panther's at number 9.
Okay.
Avengers Age of Ultron is at 7, and then the original Avengers is at 5.
Okay, to be fair, I know that you don't like Age of Ultron, but I recently just watched it.
Mm-hmm.
There's some plot holes in that.
Yeah.
No, but I will say this: I rewatched it and I was like, okay, it's not as bad as I thought.
Does Disney
it
own
was.
Jurassic Park stuff too?
I think so.
No. That's Universal.
Oh. Okay, I didn't. Well, aren't they the same?
6 out of the 10 highest grossing movies.
They're very similar.
6 out of the 10 highest grossing movies of all time are affiliated with Disney.
Why are you looking at me like that?
That's nuts. 6 out of the 10 highest grossing movies of all time are associated with Disney in some kind of way.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Okay.
This is absurd.
So your viewing experience with the 3D. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
man. Okay, so
Let me tell
well,
you
that
a story.
whole day was an experience.
Yeah.
I will tell you that. I'm not gonna get into it. He flaked out on me. That's the whole thing. And then other people flaked out on me. Anyway, so
I'm not the bad guy. I swear.
it's the person that you set me up with. Anyway, to take your place. Anyway,
To Chad.
so
Gosh.
overall, I will say that it wasn't that bad,
Yeah.
but obviously, since
The experience of the movie.
the experience
Okay,
of
gotcha,
the movie.
Gotcha.
The movie was fantastic. Now, watching it a second time, I will say, and you will agree with me, it was long.
Yes.
I just looked up how long it is. It's 2 hours, and it's almost 3 hours.
Yeah, it's a long movie.
Because it would.
And there are a lot of things that drag. We'll probably get into that.
Yeah, see, I felt like
But-
I felt like it went really quick, but I think it's just because the first time everyone was
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
Infinity War!
I know that's why
Yeah,
I was
that's
like,
it,
I was like, it's not over, guys. And then, boom, 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 boom.
And then you realize I've been sitting in the same spot for 3
My
hours.
butt hurts. Like, you know, yeah, you're like, oh.
I got up and
Everything's
I was like,
asleep, you know. But yeah, no, I saw it in 3D, and it was just like I hate 3D. I don't know why.
Oh,
I
3D is
chose-
awful,
The only
dude.
reason why I got it was because
the first time you saw it was 3D?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I
dude.
know.
That was just a mistake.
But the whole reason was like I wanted to see it, and the times that I was gonna be able to see it was the only time was in 3D. So I was like, I gotta see it because I'm gonna be on social media. I don't want anything spoiled for me.
Yeah.
Obviously, I already knew most of the stuff, but
yeah.
That was a movie we had to make sure we saw.
Yeah.
Like before it
Right.
hit social media. Because
Exactly.
you know people would be
Like,
spoiling.
dude,
yeah, I got
oh
rid
my
of all
gosh.
social media that day.
The only like media anything I got on was YouTube, and even then, like the day that the movie came out globally, people were like analyzing Avengers Infinity, and I was like, how?
exactly.
It's been out for like
It's
hours.
It's because they got pre-screenings most of the time,
which is
and
just
it's like-
nuts. So
they had it
I
with God of War to me because they're like
the new game.
yeah, I beat
So
and I
awesome.
just beat it.
The game is so
It's
tight.
beautiful. I love the game.
Have you played it yet?
No, I watched an entire
Okay.
walkthrough because my PS4 is broken.
Oh, you gotta get that fixed, man.
No, but
Can we just insert that?
Yeah.
Can one of you add that in
Yeah.
post? Just wherever
Yeah.
we do that.
We do not own any of that, by the way.
no, not at all.
I will say that right
I
now.
wish we did.
Owned by Disney. Please don't sue us.
$2 billion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we owned that.
So what about your experience?
My experience, okay, for the most part was good, but it was really funny because like just it's a huge racial stereotype, but black people talk a lot in movies. And in this movie, I became one of those black people because are we allowed to spoil stuff right now?
I wouldn't say yet.
Yeah, let's
Right now.
spoil-
Okay.
spoilers for me.
So at a certain part of the movie, a certain character dies
Yes.
who recently had a movie that was a big deal. Especially
come on.
Not spoiling it. That's,
no, because it could be a variety of people. But that a certain character
In the Gingerbread movie, the Gingerbread Man dies.
no, okay, so that happens.
why is that your go-to?
No,
I was just trying not to.
that
oh no.
that happens, and then there was a row of black people at the top of the theater,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Bitch!" Like they were like, "Come on, bro, nah."
Yeah.
Like the character came onto the screen and they were like, "No, no," and even I was like, "No," and I was, oh man, it was awful.
Just imagine you getting ready to throw hands. You pull up your pants. You just like, come on.
I was ready to. I was like, Disney, don't me like this.
It's the mouse. It's the mouse, I swear.
Yo, that mouse.
Have you seen that meme? Have you seen that meme with the Thanos has Mickey Mouse's head and he puts like the Infinity Stones are like Marvel, Lucas Arts.
That sounds awesome.
I gotta look that up.
It's great.
I will tell you this. The one thing that made my day, and I was like, man, I wish I could be in his shoes, was my little brother.
Oh yeah.
And I will say, not spoiling anything, but there are some parts where, how Nathan said, something happens, and he starts crying, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're."
He just like
I'm
wiped
good."
his face.
Yeah, no,
I'll
he
be
was just like,
fine.
and I'm just like, man, I would love to be a kid right now because growing up with this must be amazing. you know, seeing all like because we really didn't have that.
Yeah.
What did we have? We had. Well, except
Meteor Man.
besides Star Wars, I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't really have any Batman with Michael Keaton or
I mean, I love Michael Keaton.
I love Michael Keaton too.
Yeah, that's it.
But that didn't hit home for me. You know what I mean? Oh my
Ethan,
god.
can you put that on the screen for people to see?
Yes,
real
I
quick?
can. That one?
Yes.
It's the
Man.
Mickey Mouse and
Infinity Gauntlet, and,
Infinity
and they
Gauntlet.
just dubbed Mickey Mouse's face over.
Oh.
And instead of the Infinity Stones, like in the slots where the stones are supposed to be, there's like Lucasfilm, Marvel, Pixar, 20th Century Fox. It's bad. It's really
That's
bad.
great.
That's a good meme.
Um,
I loved the like Scoob. I love
oh
that.
yeah, yeah.
That-
Scoob, I don't feel too good.
I feel so good.
But I will say overall that my first preview or screening of it, I loved it.
Okay.
Even though besides the fact of just 3D was just like it's there.
Mhm.
It didn't take away from the fact of
Right.
this movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna talk.
It
about...
just made some stuff blurry. Like I was like, okay, yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah.
We have to wear glasses over glasses.
I know.
Yeah.
It's just
So I'm gonna talk about my first and second screening.
okay.
First one, I'm sorry. I feel so bad, Ethan.
Why?
Because like I didn't mean for this to happen.
Oh, okay. I didn't know what you were
Because
talking
the whole
about.
story was that I was like, yeah, Ethan, I'm not really feeling up to it. Why don't you go without me? You and my friend. He's like,
Yeah.
okay. And then I see this email at work, and they're like, hey, congratulations to the winners for the Infinity War private screening. I'm like, is that my name? Because they only chose like 3 people.
That's cool. Where was
And-
it?
Huh?
Where was it?
It was at Cinemark in 71st.
Okay.
So yeah, it was
Cool.
like a private screening we got to go to. We got like these passes and all that. And I was and
dope.
the whole time I was
know,
like
right?
the whole time I'm like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Well, whenever you told
Wait,
me
it was
that,
the same day.
yeah.
It was the day before it came out.
Oh,
It was-
oh, so you saw it before anybody?
Yeah.
You mother.
No. I was like, I'm so sorry. and then
It was fine.
like we got the recliner seats and they're doing giveaways and all that, and I was like, whoa, sorry,
You get a
Ethan.
gauntlet. You get a gauntlet. Everybody gets a gauntlet.
He walks out there like literally just dressed as Thanos. he's purple. Like
He looks like Grimace. Yeah, it's just
that was so funny. Dude.
nobody laughed.
No, okay. I was
Nobody
in
laughed.
my showing. He was okay. I don't think that's really a spoiler, but in the movie, Star-Lord, which is Chris Pratt's character, meets with Thanos for the first time, and he's like, "Whoa, hold on, Grimace."
Yeah.
And if you don't get that, then you're too
young,
young or you're too old.
I didn't laugh at it
No,
the second time.
I laughed both times. and nobody
first,
laughed.
The first time I saw it, it was so funny because Grimace is the weird purple like blob from McDonald's.
He's like the lovable character.
Right.
He's
He's
like a meme like that. I wonder if they have like Grimace's face on.
Oh, they
Thanos's.
probably do. They probably do.
Bruh.
Look it up. We'll look it up somewhere.
It was so
Yeah.
funny, and I like
Okay, I'll do it.
when I
Oh,
was
you want me to? Oh, I'm sorry.
when I was in the theater, he was like, "Hold on, Grimace," and I was like, and I was like, "Oh shit, nobody got it."
Yeah, like no, that's kind
I
of
was
like
laughing
I was like,
so hard.
I died laughing. And I was like, oh, nobody else is laughing.
Oh, it was so funny.
whatever.
The movie, for the darker tone that it was surprisingly really fun.
Yeah, I do have some questions though. I'm so confused.
Wait, hold on.
some
Let
stuff.
me.
What?
Dude, I
Wait, hold
got
on.
you.
Before we get into this, let me.
Thank you. Yeah, you got your notepad right, yeah.
Dude,
Now,
yes.
how full is that? Can I see it for a second?
It's just
Like-
the one page.
Oh,
no,
but
but
he's got the binder for the one page.
no. Okay, well, I have the. It was.
Oh,
used for
oh,
the-
okay.
I had.
Oh,
I
okay.
ripped pages out because I use it. For
I thought it
homework and
was
stuff.
literally only for the.
No, this whole binder's notes on Infinity War. No,
That would be amazing, right?
that would be incredible.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Before we get into
Yeah, go
it,
ahead.
let me just. So first screening was pretty cool.
Oh, did someone actually edit his head?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite scenes, to be honest.
There's a picture
Can you
of
send that
Grimace
to me
with
real quick?
Infinity
I gotta,
Gauntlet.
I gotta post that somewhere.
I will
Yeah.
post that
That's
in
so
the
funny.
link dump.
Oh yeah, do that.
So
Can you put that on the screen as well?
yeah,
put it on the
I'll
screen.
actually
Is
I'll
that
put it on the
possible?
screen.
But okay, so our
I need
second
all these
screening,
pictures, by the way.
our second screening we just got back from.
Yeah.
Bruh, he's
Okay, so
Yes.
yeah,
Oh my god, his face.
yeah.
so disturbing.
So okay, it was interesting. Tickets were cheap. I said tickets were cheap. God, I can't
Tickets
talk.
were cheap.
Chip.
Tickets were cheep.
Yeah, tickets were cheap.
Yeah.
I was cool with that. Popcorn was good. Sat down. I was like,
Somebody
oh,
called
wow,
me
this-
fat. Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, we got popcorn. Ethan got a bigger one than me.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it was great.
fat.
I love
in front of a bunch of
I
people.
hate the whole thing though. I was like, I don't care. I'm splurging. It's good. It was great.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know, I'm like way bigger than Ethan, so that's the joke.
It's all good.
But anyways, so like I'm sitting down, I'm like, man, these seats are really nice. And then I notice I can't go back.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm like,
But okay,
and then
the question is, how did that one dude do it?
exactly,
He was pretty big, but I mean, like,
I think
was
he like went behind his chair, just like,
yeah,
but
because these things were like stiff. I mean, they could go back, Nathan. But
Were they with the reclining seats?
no, they weren't.
no.
But somehow,
So he just
but somehow this man
he just-
reclined the his.
He just like MacGyvered the out of his seat.
And then
And I was just like, okay,
on top
cool.
of that,
That's
on
amazing.
top of that, freaking this family comes in front of us and they start sitting down. I'm like, oh. I know the smell. The smelly smell that smells. And then like
Smelly.
And then like I'm like, okay, Ethan, I gotta move over or something.
Was it that bad?
I thought it was the dude next to us.
No.
And I was
Wait,
like,
hold
it was
on,
the lady
hold
in
on a
front
second.
of us.
Let me just make sure I have this right.
It was a family.
So this family
Stinky
walked
family.
in,
Yeah.
and it was just straight up ass, just filled. The
Well,
area.
okay, you got to think about it. We went at 4:00 or 5. It's
What?
after school. These kids
No, no, no,
probably
no,
didn't
no,
go
no, no.
back
I
home.
didn't-
No, it was the mom. I know that.
I-
Oh, was the
fact.
mom?
I never
Oh,
came
that
home
makes
from
sense.
She didn't
school
come home
smelling
from-
like ass.
It's a little kid though. It's like elementary.
You should know better than that. Unless you're
know. I
like
mean-
4 years old.
Well, like if you're like come back from recess and it's
Yeah.
like hot outside, you've been running
Smell like
around.
just like
I mean, maybe,
recess.
but even like little kids don't have like BO like adults do.
My
So-
little
Some
brother
do.
does, and he's only 7. And it's
some
weird.
do.
And these kids they're changing fast. They're aging fast, man. He's only 7.
It's
He's already got.
it's like they get
armpits.
older as new people come in. They're getting shorter. Have you noticed that?
no, they're getting bigger.
No, shorter.
I was,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
talking to like a
They
group of
are.
like 13-year-olds at my
Why do you
job.
look at me like this?
'Cause I'm really short.
You're not that short.
I'm 5'5".
Okay.
That is well below average for the average man.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yes, the average man is like
Is
5'8",
6.
5'9".
Just okay.
We'll find you some inches somewhere.
Get some boosts.
I need you to never say that again.
I'm just kidding. We're like the same height, anyways. So.
No, you were noticeably taller than me.
Am I taller than you?
Yes.
Hmm.
You say that because we're sitting
checking that
down,
out.
but once we're done doing the podcast, you'll
How's the weather down there?
you know what? If I had a nickel for every goddamn time,
But no, okay. So, anyways, so after that, the movie starts up.
that's a penny.
Well,
You mother.
So the movie starts up, and we're just sitting down.
quit throwing money at me.
Shake with swish. But no, friggin'. So we're sitting down. Fade away. Oh my god. Stop giving him your money.
Giving him a
Making so much noise. All right, continue.
Anyways, so we sit down. It's all dark.
Get away from
all
the
dank.
stank.
Yeah, it stinks. I'm like, I tried to get away from it. It just followed me.
Well, no, the funny thing is, you move. I hadn't smelt it at all, like throughout the whole movie. He's like, I'm gonna move, and then just as you moved, I was like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
you were my block.
Well,
like,
and plus the seats, because I'm like, I was like, oh man, these are so nice.
They were
Then-
hot.
Yeah, because they're little friggin' pleather sheets. They're like
Yeah.
they're so hot. My back's all sweaty.
that's,
I
why do you
just-
think I scooted up at one point? I was just like,
Yeah,
I just-
and then the
I-
movie was too long, and then all these people they were just like they're talking throughout it, and then someone was like, "Shut up!" And yeah, people were like,
okay, don't do it into the mic.
but yeah, friggin', and it was just like it was a mess. But it, I mean, it was
bad.
But it was,
And the one kid, who's the pirate?
no. But
Talking about Samuel L.
Nick
Jackson.
Fury.
Remember the old lady? Remember the old lady?
Oh,
She's like, is that Grimace?
okay. So
She
spoiler.
said,
I'm gonna say
"Oh,
spoiler.
no."
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Oh wait, was
Are you gonna say when it was?
I forgot what it was, but I
can
just
tell
remember
you,
something
but it
crazy.
would be a spoiler.
Okay, might as well get in.
Okay,
Spoiler
so
warning.
we're gonna start spoiling now. So it's when Spider-Man, Peter Parker, is like,
Oh,
no, I don't want. Plus, that always gets
Lisa
me
don't wanna go.
twice. That got me twice.
Yeah,
but
that
she
really
goes,
fucked me up.
oh no, and like it's like
Yes.
this older lady.
She's like, oh dear.
Yeah, it
No,
was just like so
look,
bad.
When that happened, at my showing, when I went I've only been once, but when I went,
Yeah.
that group of black dudes who was back there, like he was like, Mr. Stark, and then the camera like cuts to him, and he's like, I don't feel so good, and one of those black dudes was like, no, and it was like so,
Yeah.
it was ridiculous.
People say that was the saddest one, but I have
really-
to disagree.
Why?
I think Gamora was the saddest one.
Oh, you mean of the whole movie?
Yeah. Of the whole movie, I think Gamora was in my personal opinion, because that one actually got me.
See, I don't know. Loki kind of messed me up a little bit too.
Man, Loki, that was that was so fucked up. Because I was like, oh, he's gonna come back from this. He never came back.
Well, he had just been getting to the point to where
he's good.
He was being a good guy.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that even though he didn't tell Thor that he was gonna give him the Tesseract, Loki always meant to try to end it right there. Which means he was good-hearted at from the get-go. And so for them to actually have him on screen and you watch Thanos snap his neck is just nuts. And then Thor's right there, so that held a lot of weight.
Because a fan favorite. Loki
do you think that they could use the time stone to get back? And
I hope they do.
We should get into it because I'm ready for my notes.
But I want to ask two things because my favorite characters are gone now. Where is Valkyrie? And where is Korg?
They were your two favorites?
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
I absolutely. Well, okay.
Of
the newest, of one of the newest.
I love Korg.
I love
the hammer rode you on your back.
Yeah, I love him. And Valkyrie is just awesome.
I mean, honestly, let's hope they're dead, except for Korg.
Yeah, I was.
I like Korg.
My thing was I was hoping they were dead because that would put more weight on the story. But I read some article where one of the Russo guys said that they're not dead. They
is
were
it
the
Joe
half
Russo?
Left. It was one of them.
Okay.
Who knows, honestly.
But yeah. So what was your other question besides that? What was your important question besides that?
I forgot. Hold on.
Okay.
Just keep going.
You said you had two questions.
Also, while you're thinking about that, the people that they killed off permanently, permanently, I hope they stay dead. Like the three, Loki, Gamora, and Vision. I hope they stay dead.
No.
What about Scarlet?
Who?
Scarlet.
She needs to stay dead.
Well, no, but she's one of the ones that fade away.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the ones that didn't.
So
okay.
I think the three that didn't fade away, I think they're actually dead. I don't think they're coming back.
I hope not.
Unless, the only person I could see them bringing back.
Vision can come back.
Well, he actually
he
does in the comic books actually.
Oh, he does. How? Without the Infinity Stone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because Adam Warlock,
is he stuck in the database?
Thanos.
Yeah. Originally, the Adam Warlock had the Soul Stone in his head. It escapes me how they get it out of his head, but Vision does come back without the Infinity Stone. They reboot him. And then he just
they just get it
with
Jarvis or something. Okay.
Right. So he does come back, and I think they mentioned it because they said
they did.
Yeah.
Did.
Right. Well,
and that's what they were doing. They were in the process of doing that.
Yeah, because Suri was like, I can remove the stone and he can stay him, but it's going to take some time. So it is possible, and I'm sure Tony Stark and Bruce Banner will find a way to reboot him. Or whatever.
Would it be the same Vision though? That's the question.
Well, here's the thing: Vision is cool, but if you really think about it, his time in the Marvel Universe has really been solely for the fact that he has the Infinity Stone in his head.
Right.
Now that it's gone, he doesn't really need to be in the story.
Yeah, and I think he was the weakest
but then
character.
he also
Him and
has
Scarlet Witch. To me, those were the weakest.
Well, the
characters.
only reason why they were there was because of Vision's Infinity Stone and then their weird relationship together.
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't like about the movie. I did not like their relationship.
I didn't like that she turned English.
That's true to the.
Oh my
that
god,
was my other thing. That was my issue.
Because she had that.
Yeah, because I just watched.
Accent.
Yeah, I just watched Ultron.
She was super English in this one.
Yeah,
makes no sense.
Okay, I thought I was the only one that noticed.
No, You
Sorry.
fool!
Sorry.
Thanos just wiped out the mic. Our bad. No, I had that in my notes actually.
Yeah,
okay.
no,
it was kind of weird.
I don't. I like Elizabeth Olsen, but
Is she one of the Olsen twins' sisters?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. She's a pretty one.
What was your favorite battle scene, fight scene?
Good question. I think I like it when they're all on Titan fighting Thanos.
Okay.
I think that might be my favorite.
I think I'm gonna have to agree because, especially from a really super comic book fan standpoint, a lot of the scenes, I don't think people even realize that a lot of those scenes that were in the movie, not just in that fight scene but throughout, are ripped right out of the comic books.
Right.
Like whenever he uses, I can't remember the names of all Doctor Strange's crazy spells, but he's got those red ribbons that tie around Thanos right out of the comics.
And the arms, I forgot what that one's called.
Whatever
he multiplies.
Yeah, that's right out of the comics too.
Transformers.
I don't know.
Avengers of Fallen.
We quit bringing that movie up.
Such a bad movie.
No, but a lot of that stuff is right out of the comic book, so it was kind of cool to see all that stuff come to fruition.
It was a shadow clone jutsu.
God.
Believe it.
That's what I was thinking.
Why?
At one point, we were
Why do
watching-
Naruto and Starscream have the same voice?
I don't know.
Believe it, Lord Megatron. Believe it.
But as we were talking about, I was like, "An Optimus Prime is gonna come out of nowhere."
Oh, please.
Did I tell you about that? I have one of those comics where it's
So dumb.
it's the Avengers versus
you bring
Transformers.
this up like every other podcast.
It's so amazing, though, dude. I want to see that movie.
As I just,
Let's get it.
I can't wrap my head around that. It's
Let me bring it up.
Transformers is much less rich.
I told you the premise of it, right?
I think so, yeah, a while ago.
I think the best part about Infinity War is how Hulk didn't come back.
Oh,
And
he will though.
No, okay, well, no, listen though. I like how he didn't come back for character wise.
Oh, character development.
because
okay.
man, because Hulk's things like Hulk is the strongest. Hulk
Yeah,
is,
he got his ass laid out.
I know.
He was like, "I'm gone."
yeah. Thanos beat the freaking Hulk out of Hulk. Like he's like, he was scared to come back.
Yeah.
And then I'm so ready for him to do a rematch with Thanos.
See, what's crazy
next
is
one.
that in that opening scene, people don't understand how big of a deal that was. Because, the opening scene is like you hear that distress call as like the Marvel logos coming up into the studios and stuff. And then you pick right back up where Thor Ragnarok left off. And like you see all these dead bodies, but those aren't just people. Those are Asgardians. So they're kind of like all like gods.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're all just laying around dead, Heimdall included,
Nova
super
Corps?
sad.
Who? I know.
I don't know. I'm waiting for
were
them
they
to do
on
that.
the ship?
No.
Because,
No.
like-
The Nova Corps is its own separate thing.
I guess okay, because I didn't watch the second Guardians of the Galaxy. How did
They weren't
Thanos,
in there either.
Well, how did Thanos get the Power Stone?
I don't. They talk about it somewhere.
He gets it from that one dude, right? No. That was the Reality Stone.
Well, because in the beginning of the movie, he already has the Power Stone.
Yeah,
I think it's one of the cutscenes at the very end.
Of what?
I think so
Because,
too.
for example, like whenever they go and talk to
The
how he was
Collector.
like, the collector, and he's like, I had to make the gauntlet for him, or he would have killed all the other dwarves, which you had a problem with. What's his name being a dwarf?
Weird.
But that's at the very end of Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
So I think that happens at one of the ends of like that they show that
How did
he
they-
has one of them.
The Power Stone?
The Power
Because-
Stone. Let me
well,
look it
but
up.
I thought-
You know
I thought
what?
Darcy-
Actually, I think you're right because I faintly remember him being like one down.
Yeah. I think
5
it's
to go or something
It's
like
not
that.
Age of Ultron. What's the?
Well, because I thought
Is
in
it
Guardians
Civil
of the-
War
I think it might be Civil War.
or is it
No,
Winter Soldier?
No, Winter Soldier. I don't know.
Because I
Let me
remember in
look it
Guardians
up.
of the Galaxy, they give the Power Stone back to the Nova,
The Nova
Corps.
Corps, right? And they
But what
lock it
happened?
up. I don't know.
Oh wait, but didn't the transport get blown up or something? I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, he beat the living Hulk out of Hulk. Like I can't express how much I love that in this movie.
Yeah.
And
Especially because it seemed like he was toying with him.
Yeah.
Because Thanos let him kind of hit him a little bit, and then he was like, "All right, I'm done."
Yeah.
And then just
Which that happened in the
wrecked his
comics
life.
too, though.
Say what?
They happen in the comics too.
Yeah.
Yeah. But freaking man, I'm so ready to see that
Yeah.
the Hulk come out in the sequel
Yeah.
because we'll have the original Avengers plus Rocket.
One thing I really liked about the movie was that we got to spend a lot of good time with Thor, which because Thor: The Dark World was just not a solid movie. Thor is just a really
Or
rich.
Ragnarok. Sorry. My bad.
Okay, that's up for some debate. It was just such a drastic change of tone. I think
Yeah.
it just was off-putting.
And yeah.
But because Taika Waititi is just a weird dude. But
It's good. It was good.
yeah. But no, I really liked because Thor's all of that stuff there's a lot of richness to that, all his character and all the Norse mythology of it all because it's actually true,
Which,
all the stuff that
because
they
I've been
use.
playing God of War and a lot of the stuff they tie into that, I'm just like,
Yeah,
oh my
no,
god.
some of the stuff for Thor is literally right from Norse mythology, so it's kind of cool for him to talk about the Bifrost and stuff like that. And then him getting the new hammer was just the most badass thing I've ever seen.
Stormcaller. I've been waiting for that for
Stormbreaker?
because I thought they were gonna bring that in Ragnarok.
Okay,
But-
see, the problem is that Stormbreaker actually doesn't belong to Thor.
It doesn't belong to the what's his
Who's it
face?
belong
Ray
to?
Bill.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
in
okay.
my
And we
notes
see a
as well.
statue in Ragnarok.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay, good
yeah,
eye. No,
yeah.
so that was one of the things in my notes was when they make Stormbreaker. Originally, Thor is flying through space or something like that, and he comes across this ship And he investigates the ship, and the ship has like this like alien race, and they're like in suspended animation, and they have selected one like very powerful, like I don't know if he's like his DNA was altered to make him like kind of a super alien, like super strong stuff, but he's like and he's got like a special suit of armor and stuff, but he's like the guardian of his people. So while they're in like the suspended animation hypersleep thing, he's protecting them and making sure the ship is okay. But it's kind of a problem because I think the ship was like the engines were busted or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. So Thor is on his ship, kind of investigating like what's going on, and because his name is Beta Ray Bill, because he doesn't really know what's going on, he like has a fight with Thor. And during the fight, he's like holding his own against Thor, you know, and Thor's not like a wimp. So I think at some point Thor drops the hammer and Beta Ray Bill picks it up, and he's the only person who's really been like truly worthy of holding the hammer without any kind of assistance or just without being like as strong as like someone like Hulk or whatever.
Yeah, I remember there's the time Magneto picked it up, but that was only because he used the He used because he didn't use the ground. He used like something in the air. Something in the air that picked it up.
But no, and so then there was like in the comic books they have like a fight over like who's gonna keep Mjolnir. Yeah. And Beta Ray Bill actually wins. He kicks Thor's ass. Yeah. And then he brings Thor back to Asgard, and as a reward, you know, because Beta Ray Bill was like, I'm not gonna kill your son, Odin. Like, you know, we're good. Yeah. And because of that kind of honor, Odin made him Stormbreaker, and that's the original origin of that. But it was kind of cool to have that tied into the movie, and what they did with it was super dope.
I hope we see Beta Ray Bill in the future.
Well, he's in the universe because you saw his statue on the side of the Grandmaster's tower in Ragnarok. But
because like I want to say that we actually saw him in like one of the Thor movies. I mean, because I thought he was like crashed down or something, and Coulson was inspecting him, but I think that was just something else.
I think it probably was something else. I feel like if Beta Ray Bill would have been in there, someone would have caught it a long time ago.
Yeah, because it seems like he's been teased for a while. He might be replacing Thor. You know, because
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I hope they don't like in the future. I hope that they don't like kill Thor or anything like that, because he's such an interesting character and he's got a lot of stuff that you can do with him. Yeah. Especially in where the Avengers are concerned, but I don't know. But I'd hope they'd bring Beta Ray Bill, like if they do another Thor standalone movie, which I think they need to kind of make up for what they did with the Dark World. But it'd be really interesting to have that happen.
I wish they didn't give him his eye back. That was my only.
I liked the eye patch.
Yeah, me too. I like that too because it was like a symbol for for his father.
Yeah, it's almost like a kind of like character symmetry kind of thing, like passing the torch kind of thing. Yeah.
But we were even talking about that because even before the movie came out, I think I saw some action figures or something. I was like, why does he have an eye?
I remember.
Like, I was like, he has an eye patch on this toy, but he doesn't on this toy.
Why are the toys such spoilers?
I know.
They need to be
also,
better
I want to say this, is that the Power Stone is actually not shown on screen. How he gets it.
That's what I thought.
It is just assumed that he gets it off of Xandar.
Yeah, where the Nova Corps was.
Yeah.
Got it.
Is he Mad Titan?
Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
he's the Mad Titan.
Okay, because whenever I was like trying to look it up, I didn't know if that was like a different name for
him.
He
like annihilated his whole home
planet.
planet.
So what happened was with the power of the Power Stone having been locked away on Xandar in the aftermath of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the Mad Titan had the purple rock from in his Infinity Gauntlet. So I guess he took it from there.
Guess so. So more Infinity War stuff.
Yeah.
What do you got?
I have some. I wrote down some questions of what I was wondering once I left the movie. Okay. So my first one is, how do you guys think that they will fix the deaths that we see at the end of the movie?
Ooh.
I think they're not actually dead. I think they're like in another realm because
there's the theory that they were like in the Soul Stone or whatever.
Yeah, because I feel like you can't have the sequel to this, but without all those big names.
Right.
I think.
Well, that goes into another part of like another tangent from this question. Well, we'll talk about this first. So, how do you guys think they'll fix it in the future going forward?
Probably the Time Stone, right?
I think
that's a good possibility.
My thing is like I think all the original Avengers, they might kind of be done for a while or just done. So I know Chris Evans, I think his contract's pretty much up.
I think after because they shot both movies at the same time,
right?
So which I guess they counted that as one. So I think because Avengers 4 is already done; they're done filming.
Oh, Phase 4?
They did. Yeah, then the Avengers 4, the one that's like in 2019.
Oh.
Yeah, it's already done.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
I think it's
doing
gonna be
like
called Endgame.
visual effects and stuff like that.
Right. But
it's done.
yeah.
Yeah, like they've already done it. So I
Photography's
think
done.
Chris Evans and maybe Robert Downey Jr. as well.
Yeah, I think they're both done.
They're done.
Chris Hemsworth, I think I may have read something to where he's gonna be on a little longer.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like Iron Man should be because he has all that stuff with Spider-Man.
But the
Is
thing-
Rhodey gonna take
Well,
over?
here's my thing, because the way I
Like-
think of it, because they kind of teased it at the beginning, because he's like, I want to settle down and have a baby. Then
Right.
Pepper, she's all like, yeah, but not with that on your chest,
Right. But it's not
But I
even
think
on his
that's-
chest at this point. It's just there, isn't it?
But anyways, yeah, I think that's kind of foreshadowing that he might kind of retire
For a while.
later on.
Yeah.
But Earth will still be in good hands because you got all these other people. Also, I think it's so funny how they didn't get rid of any of the original Avengers.
What a
that's-
big troll. Oh my!
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, Iron Man or Cap, Iron Man or Cap."
Yeah.
It was none.
It's like everyone else.
yeah, literally everyone else that no one was talking about were the people
Right.
that were gone.
Yeah.
What a ballsy move to take out Spider-Man and Black Panther.
Man, when I saw Black Panther, I was like, no.
I
I'm
know.
like, why they gotta get rid of my? Like,
Yeah. Okay, so that, like I was saying
They got rid
earlier,
of almost all the black people just thinking about it.
I know.
Yeah, because they left like freaking Rhodey at the end.
It's like the one that nobody cares about.
I know.
I care about him.
No, I like Rhodey, but like he's not nearly as cool as Falcon or Black Panther. Because Falcon's funny and he's got like the cool wing thing. Black Panther, come on, do I need to
Yeah,
say
I
anything
know.
about that? And then like Rhodey's just kind of there. Like I mean,
love Rhodey.
I
He
like
shows
Rhodey
up every
too.
once in a while.
Yeah.
Did you notice that Thunderbolt was in this movie?
Thunderbolt Ross?
Yeah.
Was he in the movie?
Yeah, he was. He was the one talking to what's his face.
Oh, at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, because I was like, I
didn't
forgot
notice
he was
that.
in Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope they make a Thunderbolts movie in the future.
That'd be cool. But no, that how they will fix the deaths goes into another question, which is one of my issues with the movie, is that the character deaths, the main ones that people are really sad about, actually don't have any lasting impact.
Right.
Because that's why it was a good but also a bad move to announce that we all know Black Panther's getting another movie. They've already said that. Spider-Man already has another movie on the way. We know that. And we also already know that because they let it slip that they filmed both movies at the same time because they had all the actors there, and so they might as well have.
Yeah.
That all the actors are in both movies. So
Right.
we see these characters die, and as sad as it is to watch in front of your eyes,
I didn't even think about that.
you leave the theater and you're like, oh, well, I know they're going to come back, so it has no lasting impact.
Yeah, exactly.
And what if Marvel is smart, as crazy as it would be, and I hate to say it because
They just scrap everything.
well, no, but I hate to say it, and I know
more movies.
I know they're not going to do it, but it would be great if they all actually stay dead.
That's what I was thinking too. I didn't want to tell you guys because I didn't want you to think I was crazy.
As nuts as that would be, because Black Panther, we just got him, and it made us so much money, and it was great. And the new Spider movie, like Tom Holland is a perfect Spider-Man, but like
He's cool.
Tobey Maguire forever. But I'm just saying.
Did you guys see that video? No, I'll tell you later. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like because of that reason, like, and we also know there's a new Guardians movie on the way,
Right.
and all of them died. So that
Well, here's the thing, because they said with the new Guardians movie, they teased a long time ago, like, don't think the team's gonna be the same. There's gonna be different people in it.
no, I'm sure.
And, yeah,
but I
it's
mean,
gonna
they
be-
could be referring to the fact that Gamora is actually dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's
even
what
though
I'm
we know they're gonna bring back Chris Pratt, we know they're gonna
I
bring
don't
back
think that they're gonna
T'Challa.
bring back Gamora.
No, I think Vision, Gamora, and who was the other one? And Loki. They're officially dead. Because I mean, again, like, what else can you do with them going forward unless you do more Thor things, which you probably won't. But like, those deaths had no lasting impact. As soon as I left the theater, I was like, oh well, Spider-Man's gonna be back. He's got a new movie. Black Panther's gonna be back. He's got a new movie.
He just got that new suit.
Right. And then like the Guardians have a new movie for Guardians Volume 3. So like, and that's basically everyone who died that everyone's like really upset about.
Yeah, that's true. I'm with you on that, because when they start fading away, I was like, okay, I see what you're trying to do, Marvel. You're not gonna get me though. Which I will admit though, that was really good for like an in the moment thing.
Yeah.
But for like a lasting thing,
Yeah.
it wasn't good because we already know. But still,
Yeah. Especially because for a second, Scarlet Witch like does destroy the Infinity Stone, and then you're like,
Uh-huh.
oh man, just in time. But then he's
Yeah.
like,
Time
bitch.
stone.
Which is like,
You should have done it earlier,
Yeah.
like when he told you.
Yeah. And then even with the fact that Thor throws his like badass hammer into Thanos.
yeah. And he's like, "You should have aimed for the head."
No,
and then I was like,
snap.
that's when I was like, that was
No,
awesome.
I
man.
know.
Thanos. Okay, I'm gonna say this. Thanos is probably one of the best freaking villains I've seen in a comic book movie.
Other than Killmonger, once again, I think Marvel made me actually care about Thanos.
They've been doing really good with their villains, I've noticed, because
Yeah.
even though I didn't like Ragnarok, I didn't think Hela was a bad villain.
Ooh, she was funny too.
And okay,
They made us-
That's why.
They made us care about Loki. They made us care about Beermonger. They made us care about.
Beermonger.
They made us care
T'Challa.
about Thanos and like him
I wanna
having
make
to.
a frat movie.
Beermonger.
It's just like the whole. It's just like.
Set in a frat house in Wakanda.
Yeah, it's like the whole. It's the same storyline, but just like they're in a frat house.
Have you seen that picture of Michael B. Jordan on a plane? And like he's not answering somebody. He's like, "That's why you died."
Yeah, no, he's just on his phone or something. He's just looking down.
He's like, "Wakanda forever, man. That's why you died. You didn't answer or something like that." It's funny.
Yeah, man. And then Baron Zemo, he was a great villain.
See, okay.
Wait, who's Baron Zemo?
Baron's from Civil War.
Okay, now I have a question. The guy that was the red face,
Red Skull.
Red Skull. How is he? How did he get there from Captain America?
So here's what's crazy.
Because I was very confused.
Is
about
that okay? I wish that I could make. Well, I don't wish I could make this up, but it was kind of scary how accurate I was. Right before I went into the theater, I was with a group of my friends, and they were like, "So what do you think is gonna happen?" I was like, "Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Red Skull just showed up in the movie." Because he's such a big villain,
Right.
You know, like no way they would just take him out in that first movie, whatever. And sure enough,
How did
he
he get
shows
there,
up.
though?
So at the end of the first Avenger,
Right.
remember they're in the big plane,
Okay.
and he does something to the Tesseract, and he's like, all of the knowledge ever, and then he gets sucked into that beam, and he transported out into space.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
It took him to as like the guardian of the Soul Stone,
okay.
and then that's just where he's remained.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Hugo Weaving was a and didn't come back to be.
This new guy was great though.
Surprisingly, like it was difficult to tell, except for maybe facial features,
Right.
like the way his face was set up.
Yeah.
You know, other than that, he did a great job.
Yeah, because like I remember when I saw that, everyone in the theater was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I was one of them too, man.
Yeah.
That was great.
You're like, it was actually just me.
That was a really unexpected twist.
It
Yeah.
was,
Yeah, really unexpected.
Yeah, but I know you guys were talking about. I don't know if I already made this point, but I don't know about you guys because I know. Well, actually, I do know. You guys said that you didn't. You thought that Tom Holland, his Spider-Man, was the saddest death.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, arguably, I would say it's up there. Maybe not the saddest. I mean, Gamora was pretty rough.
That's what I'm saying. I think Gamora was the worst because it was just like. Because here's the thing, like we said earlier, we know Spidey's coming back. It was emotional at the time, though.
Right.
I'm not like
Right.
it was sad. But
I think-
but the thing is, Gamora's not coming back, and.
Right.
Well,
and
that
I know
we
she's
know
not,
of.
and I know she's not a big character or anything, but it's just that the whole process, like he's all because you have to give up. What
They're
you
sad for
love.
different reasons.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's when she found out that he actually loved
Yeah.
someone,
Right.
which in the comics that would have been death because
That's on my list as well.
yeah.
Of things that I didn't like is that they didn't have that whole Mistress Death thing.
But I think she's gonna be in the sequel.
I hope so.
because I don't think she's gonna be.
Or
in
do you mean
Deadpool.
part 2? You said sequel.
It's gonna be a sequel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
I think
I
they
feel like it's
took
a
a
continuation.
I mean,
right?
it is,
It's-
but
it-
they
no,
took away the
this
part
is
1
gonna
and
be-
2 thing.
Yeah, because they said the next one's gonna be pretty much its own movie in a sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
I
okay.
think the
Okay. I
next
didn't know
one's
that.
gonna be Endgame.
No, they're definitely sad for different reasons. The Spider-Man death is sad because Marvel did a masterful job of setting up the kind of mentor pupil relationship
Right.
between Tony Stark and Peter Parker. Teach him how to be a hero. And even in the movie, like already we've been introduced to this kind of dynamic between the two in Spider-Man Homecoming. And then it's expanded upon even more at the beginning of the movie where, Tony Stark is like, get out of here, kid. You're not ready for this. Just be on the ground. You're not ready. He said, and he says, happy trails. See you later.
Yeah.
Just trying to still be a mentor and make wise choices.
Right.
And because of Spider-Man's choices, ultimately he ends up dying. And, there's that, he's like, I'm so sorry. And, that's got to be hard for Tony Stark to
Right.
witness.
Yeah.
And then with the Gamora thing, that's different because once again, kind of like with Scarlet Witch destroying the Infinity Stone, he's like, we have to give up something you love. And Gamora's like, well, you don't love anything. So, For a second, you're like, oh, okay, so he's not going to get it.
Yeah,
They're
no.
going to have to wait to the next movie. And then when he turns around, he's got that tear.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, no.
Yeah, and seeing and that's when I was like, this is a great freaking character because this whole thing you're seeing this big bad dude destroying
Yeah.
people, genocide, all this
Right.
stuff,
Nuts.
and then you just see him shed a tear because he realizes
Yeah.
to obtain his goal, he's gonna have to lose the one thing that he loves.
Right. And he even says in the movie, he's like, no one is willing to do whatever it takes to make this happen, and I'm willing to make that sacrifice no matter what.
Right.
And so to have him actually follow through with that.
Well, but
is
at that
just-
point, he was like, "This is my second time. I can't.
Right,
I can't
right.
mess with this." So,
Right.
I mean, he did have another choice before. I don't know when.
yeah.
But
Which
that's interesting.
I think is crazy. Another question I had on this list was, where do you guys think the Ant-Man and Hawkeye were during all of this?
Well, they said where they were.
Yeah.
No, right, but at the same time, like there's got to
Which
be
that
a
pisses me off, man, because the whole time I'm like,
What is he gonna do?
I love Ant-Man. He's like literally one of my favorites, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna show up. He's gonna show up. He didn't show up, But I heard in another article they're saying that the people that weren't in Infinity War, they're gonna have a bigger role in the next one.
yeah.
But like, okay, I just actually watched the first one for the first time. The Ant-Man. I know. Shush.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, it's
is.
not.
I
It's not
love
that
it.
bad of a movie. I mean, but it's not one of those movies that I'm gonna go back and rewatch probably in anytime soon.
I think
Wright.
I also only saw it the one time.
Yeah, I mean, I love Edgar Wright. Don't get me wrong, one of my favorite directors, but this one did not appeal to me. Like, it's a one-time thing. For me.
Yeah. Plus, like with everything that Marvel's been doing, origin stories are just like, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
and it was just kind of boring. But
The new one looks great.
yes, it does look really good. But I can see why
They even got
didn't
Lawrence
put him
Fishburne
in
in
there.
there.
Yeah, I saw that. I don't know who he's gonna be
Lawrence
playing.
Fishburne.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
right on.
Yeah.
He's playing a character named Goliath. He's like a doctor of something.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And let's remind everyone, I was there when they filmed it in Atlanta. Just saying.
Ant-Man and the
Anyway.
Wasp?
No.
Did you see them?
No, I didn't
Did you
see
see
him.
Paul
I saw.
Rudd?
I saw.
like, drove
no, I
by.
saw them.
Did you talk to Lawrence Fishburne?
No, listen.
He saw an ant and a man and then a
No, I
wasp.
saw
So-
one of the cars in the trailer, like the Cadillac, the white and gold one. I saw that. Then I saw
Like when they were filming that?
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and then I
tight.
saw the car with the crane on it. That has the camera on it,
Right.
and
Yeah.
filming and whatnot. But yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So I wrote down some like main plot points that would be interesting to discuss. So the first one, we already talked about character death, so I'll get rid of that. But another one is Adam Warlock, because we still haven't seen anything from him.
Well, actually, okay. In Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one, you see his cocoon,
Right.
and I thought he would actually show up in the sequel, but I guess
I'm
I've
actually
never
I'm
seen the
curious.
sequel.
I know that he's gonna be in.
You need to see it. Let's
I
go.
don't like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Just watch it. I didn't like Ant-Man.
Honestly,
Okay, cool,
I
cool.
wasn't a big fan of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, but I'm glad I saw it for the sake of knowing where all the
Exactly.
stories fit in for this movie.
I feel like it's kind of pointless for me to go back.
Just watch the ending.
But
Just watch the
they
ending.
they do expand a lot more on Adam Warlock.
And he's in it. Does he make an appearance or anything?
He
or is the
you
cocoon open?
there's this race of like gold people.
Oh! God, I forgot their names. Not the Guardians, but they're not the. I know what you're talking about,
Right.
though.
But
I'll look it up.
Yeah. So they got the cocoon was in where the collector was, and the other
Howard
Guardians
the
of the
Duck.
Galaxy movie, right? Howard the Duck. But now
what are they gonna do with
I think
that?
he's dead.
Howard the Duck. I hope he's dead. But
He's one of the people that got taken.
yeah, they flashback. You see the duck. I'm like, no. But so that race of gold people. I forgot what they're
I'm
called.
looking it up.
But they got possession of Adam Warlock's cocoon,
Sovereign.
Oh,
the Sovereign. That's
okay,
right.
yeah.
And they have it, and so it kind of seems like they're, for lack of a better term, like incubating him, like getting him to and the end credit scene for Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is they're like, well, someone says, Mistress, the main lady of the Sovereign, they're like, Mistress, what are we gonna do about this? And she goes, I think we'll call him Adam.
Oh,
And then it cuts.
oh.
So that's the
Oh
big
my
teaser for that,
gosh.
right? So
So he's gonna show up in Volume 3 most likely.
Possibly.
yeah, that's
I
confirmed.
mean, even though we need him now, but
So
I guess Captain Marvel's gonna take his place in beating Thanos.
well, okay, so that's the thing. The Russo brothers even said that Captain Marvel will be the most powerful character in the Marvel universe to date. Which there is a whole nother storyline that's even more insane. Well, in some cases, it's even more insane than the Infinity Gauntlet storyline that they could go now that she's in the picture. But with Adam Warlock, I was just curious because I was under the impression that he was going to show up, even if it was like in the end credit scene, or like at some point we were going to see something of Adam Warlock, and there was nothing. Because in the comics, he's really one of the only people who, right, and rewrites, like Nebula is one of the people who gets the Infinity Gauntlet. She takes it from Thanos. And then Adam Warlock like kind of wrecks Thanos' life when he gets it.
Oh yeah.
So
And I remember, and Thor beats Thanos at one point, but that was like in a whole separate.
Right.
deal. Because I remember he had like an Infinity Stone. He had to get like a new hammer and all
Right.
that.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But yeah, what else you got?
So another thing I have is Doctor Strange's visions, because that was a really interesting aspect of the movie, where and I love that, like, as I think it was like Iron Man and Peter Quill are talking, you see him in the background, and he's starting to and he's like doing stuff.
Yeah.
And so obviously, it seems the way they've set it up is that Doctor Strange gave Thanos the Time Stone because that was one of the only ways.
Yeah.
Because he said out of like 14,561,000, I think it was.
Yeah, it was one.
There was only one possible outcome where they win, and it had to have been the inclusion of him getting all of the stones. So the sacrifice of the half of the universe, because something else was going to happen later that would eventually lead to them winning overall. Yeah, which is why he would say, "Oh, well, we're in the end game now," and that would lead him to. Like when Doctor Strange fades away after Thanos wipes out half of everything, he fades away. And so when he does, he says, like, it was the only way, Tony. So, yeah, and he saves Tony Stark's life, I think, on purpose, because I think the only way that that one root of their victory comes to pass has something big to do with Tony Stark and what he does with the original Avengers.
Yeah, because I remember when they were in the ship, he's all like, if it comes down to you and the kid and the Time Stone...
It's gonna be the Time
Stone. It's gonna be the Time Stone.
Yeah.
So
it'll be interesting.
Yeah, this whole thing could just be like a whole.
So there's a lot going on here. So did you guys have any issues with the movie? I wrote down some issues that I had.
I had some.
And mine are mainly some character stuff.
Me too. Yeah.
If you guys wanted to start, you can. But
I already said mine too. So.
Okay. Well, for one, you guys are gonna hate me. I didn't like Drax.
You did?
I didn't.
Okay,
Why?
no, agreed.
Okay, because one of him stupid instead of just like...
He's always been stupid.
Oh, wow. You wrote that down.
Well, okay, so what made me really frustrated was, first of all, they changed Star-Lord from how he was in the comics. Star-Lord, I mean, all the comic book characters, they make jokes and stuff. But the Guardians of the Galaxy were kind of serious. And
exactly.
And I get the fact that they're kind of like misfits and stuff. So the first movie was done pretty well in kind of setting that up.
Right.
And Chris Pratt is a goofy guy, but he's a great actor. Like he can act. And I was upset because in Infinity War they are like the comedic relief of almost the entire movie. It's like
the Rosencrantz and Guildenstern of the movie.
Right. I mean, great reference. Yeah. First of all, that's smart. But like, I was getting frustrated because Drax was just kind of like a bumbling idiot the whole time.
Yes, exactly.
Groot served no purpose other than to help Thor get his.
I am Groot.
That cracked me up. I will admit that did crack me up.
And then even Rocket didn't really do much of anything.
I actually did like, because here's the thing. Okay,
I like him in Thor. That was a cool thing.
Yeah, because like I didn't like him in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but
he was a dick.
He
kind of reminded me of like Steve and
Toothless from Stranger Things.
Like
okay.
Season 2,
oh yeah.
Like that kind of connection for me.
Yeah.
At
Okay,
least.
I see.
Yeah.
But
not as smart as my reference.
I don't care.
No, but like
It's still good.
and here's the thing. I understand. I mean, okay, and here's the thing. I have a pretty good knowledge of most things comic books.
Okay.
But with Guardians of the Galaxy,
what about Transformers?
There's gaps. Well, Transformers are garbage. So anyway,
Okay.
So like with Star-Lord, like he was more
He's
of
not lying.
Star-Lord was always more of a serious character, and so whenever he finds out that Thanos killed Gamora, like I felt like even though he really cared about Gamora, if I had a girlfriend that was that serious and some dude is about to destroy half of everything in existence and they almost completed getting the gauntlet off of his hand, I would have he could have waited even like a couple seconds and he would have been able to beat the out of Thanos.
Yeah, but if you think about it, it's in the moment. He's probably not thinking straight.
No, I'm sure, but even with like
Plus
Spider-Man,
they gotta keep it going.
Right. Well, yeah, but it was frustrating because I feel like there could have been a better way for them to have Thanos keep the gauntlet than that.
Right.
And even with right, and then
just
even
poor writing.
Yeah,
at that point.
I mean, I don't know.
Well, actually,
that movie is long.
Here's my thing.
I can understand where there can be poor writing.
I think that it was more of an emotion. Okay, I'm not trying to take up for Peter Quill or anything.
Right.
No, right.
But he lost his mom, and that's like one of the only people that's ever loved him.
No, right.
He lost his father. I don't know his whole father thing. I know he killed
His father was a giant god planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ego? He was Ego?
Yeah.
His dad was Ego, the living planet.
What? That's crazy. Anyways,
Yeah.
but
There's
anyways,
also who played him, the character.
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell. Love him.
If you would have seen the movie, you would know.
Yeah.
But anyways, but then like I'm Groot. But
I want to get that as like a ringtone. So continue.
No, but like so then Gamora was like the only other person that like ever loved him like that. And
I understand
just
that.
Seeing that, and I guess like that loss just kind of got to him. And
I mean, I understand that, and that's that. There is some realism in that because in that kind of moment, people would act irrationally.
Right.
But this guy, like, they're on the planet that this man destroyed. You saw him,
And
pull,
they even used the reality stone to like show it. Yeah.
He pulled a moon out
that
of
was the best
sky.
part of the movie, man.
Like, no, which is nuts. Like, you see this guy do all that stuff, and you still don't realize how serious of an issue this is. Like, even then, I think an adult and someone in that kind of pressure situation would have been like, you know, waited at
But
least.
to be honest, he kind of acts like a kid.
Yeah.
Star-Lord.
I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it-
oh
but-
yeah, for sure.
They've
That's
written
a good
him
point.
as a kid.
Yeah.
Like he's
But
just
overall, they made them kind of dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. That's what I was thinking too. And I was like, because like I thought they were dumb in the first movie, and I don't know how they were in the second. But like because I didn't care for. I mean,
it's kind of the same.
I didn't care for them that much, honestly. And I mean, I'm happy that they were in the movie.
Right.
I just didn't care for them except for Gamora because
Yeah.
that was deep. That was deep.
Yeah.
There's another character I didn't care for. I didn't care for the whole Vision and Scarlet Witch.
No, actually, I like
that
I like.
that didn't.
It's
really
accurate to
sit
the
with me.
comics, but they could have done it better.
Yeah, because it was just like it felt like it was forced. Because I mean, we knew they were in love in Civil War, but then they're like, "Oh yeah, they're really in love now."
Well, they've had time to like, you know.
And it's just also
Get
I just
that,
don't
though.
care about those characters. I guess.
Yeah, I
mean,
guess.
they haven't really
Yeah.
given us a reason to really care, except for in this movie when, like, towards the end of
Yeah.
when they're gonna kill Vision off.
Speaking of not really caring about characters, so other than Thanos, the other villains of this movie,
The Black Order.
yes.
God, that's another one I was gonna. Yeah, okay.
See, one of
talk
my
about
biggest
this.
problem with that is that every person in the Black Order went out like a little bitch.
Mm.
I mean, in some ways, but like people don't understand. Those characters are so incredibly powerful. One of them alone is a big threat to the Avengers.
Yeah.
You know, and that would be a task for the Avengers. So for them to go out as easily as they did is a little unbelievable, especially Ebony Maw.
Yeah, the mind dude.
Yeah, so Ebony Maw
Which
is
one's that one?
He's the guy who
Squidward.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, Squidward. Okay.
Doctor Strange. He puts all the needles in his face and stuff.
Yeah.
Ebony Maw is actually one of the bigger villains for Doctor Strange, other than Baron Mordo, who we saw in the movie, who obviously will come back in the second movie for Doctor Strange. But
didn't
Ebony
see the
Maw,
first one.
like
Yeah.
he's got like this. It's not really magic. It's more like a telekinesis thing.
Yeah.
But he is so incredibly powerful, and he's like held his own against Doctor Strange multiple times in the comics. So for him to like be easily subdued because have you seen Alien? You know, like was kind of unbelievable. And then on top of
I
that,
could agree
they
with
don't
that.
tell you who any of those people are. Through the
I know
whole
because
movie.
there's Black Dwarf,
Black
Ebony Maw.
Dwarf, Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, and Corvus Glaive. Are the main four.
Yeah, and like my thing is that okay, I'm happy they were in the movie because I feel like they kind of needed to be.
Yeah.
I didn't really care for. There's no reason for me to care for them
Right.
at all.
I mean, again,
because
it's
you could tell they were just kind of thrown in there because like, oh, we need some more villains,
Right.
You
Well,
know, but not
it's-
really big ones. But we just need
Right.
to hold the Avengers over. But
it kind of serves a weird dual purpose because it is fan service, but it's also comic book accurate.
yeah, and also weren't the Black Order? That's his children.
Well, they go by the children of Thanos. I don't think they're actually his
I
children.
thought they actually were in the comics.
I
Does
don't
he
know.
actually have children though?
Gamora and
Yeah.
Nebula.
Well, Gamora's
Gamora's not. No,
adopted.
he just.
Oh,
finds
well,
her.
yeah. Well,
Nebula's his actual daughter, I believe.
Which you didn't see. Apparently, whenever we were watching the
Stop
movie,
pointing at me.
whenever we were watching the movie, you didn't know that she was still there with
Oh yeah. Oh
Tony
yeah.
on Titan.
Okay, yeah. That's something I didn't notice in my first viewing.
Also, I want to talk about how they ripped off Star Wars Attack of the Clones with those vehicles in Wakanda.
and then just bring the Transformers.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I was like, oh my god, that is totally from
yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
I love those.
That Ethan.
I started cracking up laughing.
Speaking of cracking up laughing, let's talk about Peter Dinklage.
Okay,
the gigantic
you had,
dwarf.
like, a big issue with that for some reason.
Because
He was dying laughing.
Because like he was just a gigantic dwarf for one, which in the comics he's not. He's not that big. And then also, which he's also in God of War.
He did have a good joke though.
Actually, the dwarves are in God of War.
The character is in God of War.
Because they make Thor's hammer and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But also, his voice, it was just so like. It was.
He
just
did have a good
so-
joke though.
Which I think that was improvised. That just sounded like it was improvised to me.
He's like,
it
"You'll
was
die."
great.
He's like,
oh no,
He's like,
he was like, but will I survive? And he was like, I literally just said you
He's
would
like,
die.
but he's like, you're dead.
Yeah,
He's
so
like, God,
funny.
I wish I remember the
Yeah.
line, but
Yeah.
his voice was like really just like you could tell he was trying really hard on that. He was like,
I am
"Oh, son of Odin!
I am a dwarf. Like, it's really.
Punch! I punched Thor with my metal hands."
Yeah.
But I mean, he wasn't a bad character.
Yeah.
It was just like you could just tell he was trying a little hard.
It was kind of fascinating to see where the weapons come from and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, okay, speaking of which, really quick, since we're on that topic.
What'd you have to
So,
say, Ethan?
at the end of the movie, when Thanos does the snap, you guys noticed that the Infinity Gauntlet was like all kinds of up, right?
yeah.
So,
When did he get that cottage? Sorry. At the very end, I was like, when did you have time to
that's
do
from the
this?
comics.
no, that's from the comics as
Yeah.
well.
When did he have time to
when
do
they
that, though?
defeat Thanos, he actually becomes a farmer.
Oh.
No, yeah.
That's really
After
weird.
he completes his mission and stuff, which
Yeah.
is like wiping out half the universe. After that, they defeat him, and then he just kind of goes into solitude because he's done.
He's content.
Yeah, he's done it. You know, like, it's
okay.
fine. And again, that would make more sense if they would have set up the whole Mistress Death thing.
Okay.
Because the whole point of the reason why he wants to wipe out half the universe is to please
To be a farmer.
Death, and not like oh Hela from Asgard. Like there's an actual personification of Death who just happens to be a woman that he is obsessed with, and he wants to please her. So he does that to try to please her.
I thought we were gonna see Death like when before he went to his cottage and there's like that little I don't know what it was where he was like seeing Gamora's little
Yeah,
girl.
and it looked like that was inside the Soul Stone
Okay.
Yeah.
because it was like an orangish kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, because I was like, is he gonna see Death there?
I was hoping so.
But
Do you think that's her? Like just in like spirit or whatever?
Maybe
Like
I mean,
even though like maybe she takes the shape of Gamora.
I actually heard I was looking up some theories in case we wanted to talk about some, and one of the more interesting ones, a film theory. Oh, Matt Pat, good old Matt Pat.
Yeah, I know.
No, but one of the theories is that Thanos actually died when he did the snap. That's why like everything was messed up. And so
That's
when
what I was- yeah,
when he got
okay.
that vision was because he had died and was like put into the Soul Stone.
That'd be crazy if it was
And
like
because of like having the Infinity Gauntlet or whatever, that's why the Gauntlet wasn't there when he went into that little realm or whatever.
Right.
And then he was given like a second chance because of what he did, which would have been kind of strange.
well, because he did taboo Death though, because he was pretty much dead at that point.
Yeah,
And then he kind of I thought he was gonna use the time stone to kind of reverse that, but he just used the
but
snap.
it was interesting.
Which I try to look for the snap each time, but I keep missing it.
It goes very quick.
I told you where it was.
Yeah, you told me, but I didn't get to see it though.
Okay.
As soon as like Thor, the hammer goes into him, and then Thor he gets up into Thanos' face and goes, "I told you that you would die for that," and then pushes the hammer, the axe hammer, back further into Thanos. And then after he says, you should have aimed for the head. There's
He does it at
it's
that
like it's like if you blink, you'll miss it.
Right.
Like his hand
I guess
goes
you
up.
blink both times.
Yeah,
so.
his hand goes up, and you see Thor look at it like, "What?" And then boom, and then it's gone.
And then he starts screaming. He's like, "No!" or whatever in his British accent.
Oh, okay.
His weird Australian British accent.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
No, I don't either.
No, but I just going back to what we were talking about, like with the Black Order, I feel like that was also a waste of some really great characters because,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
like, those characters are very, very powerful in their own right. So to have them kind of tossed aside was kind of weird.
I'm curious to see if they're gonna release like an extended cut of this movie.
Oh, they probably
I'd be
will.
interested.
DVD. Yeah, because like I feel like that's something that was left out there because they're introductions.
Yeah.
Because
Also-
because like you said, they actually are very important to the story.
It's a 3-hour movie.
I
You
was-
have to remember that.
I was-
there has to be something cut.
I was actually a little sad that they didn't bring in Silver Surfer because it would have been really great. It would have been really great for them to kind of try to tie that and reference the Fantastic Four for the first time in the Marvel Universe.
Right.
Okay.
Because originally it was Silver Surfer who crashes through Doctor Strange's house, not the Hulk.
I remember that frame,
via
the panel on the comic.
via the Bifrost.
Oh.
Also the fact that Thor can just summon the Bifrost now whenever he wants is pretty tight.
That's cool.
Okay. So let's talk about the end scene.
Bifrost is the
The teleportation thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what happens with the sword? I'm sorry. I went to.
I'll let you finish.
So certain
It gets destroyed.
right. No, so the sword is done.
Okay.
Right, and I think it was destroyed
So is
earlier.
Idris Elba.
Right.
R.I.P.
sad.
Man.
It was. I think it was destroyed in Ragnarok. I thought.
I think so. But basically, the doors. There are certain magical objects. I think they talk about it for like a split second in Infinity War.
Okay.
But
I
he
missed
says
it.
like certain things can't control the Bifrost. The sword was one of them. Odin's staff was another, and then this hammer is, like he said, has said to have been able to control the Bifrost.
Okay. Okay.
So now that Thor is really the only all-powerful Asgardian left, or maybe even the only one left, period.
Yeah. Well, no, he said half at the very beginning, so
Right.
there has to be another half
But
somewhere else.
so that hammer can now control the Bifrost as well.
Okay. Cool. Continue.
I forgot now. I was trying to think about what I was trying
Something
to
about
say.
the end scene.
Okay, so we all know. Okay, the end scene. Everyone's fading away. We see Nick Fury. He pulls out his pager, and he goes away. But he was able to hit the button in time, and we see Captain Marvel's symbol.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna be so hyped, and I knew this wasn't gonna happen, but I can believe.
Believe it.
But I was hoping to God I would see the Fantastic Four symbol.
Yeah, I did too.
Show up on there. I would have been.
I
like,
wish you would have been
dope.
right, Nathan. Really wish you would have been right about that.
I was really, really hoping. Like, because I remember we talked about this on a podcast
Yeah.
earlier, and I was, because the Fantastic
Tony
Four.
Stark moves out of his
Right.
tower
I mean,
and
it would be so great if, like, now that Robert Downey Jr. is getting towards the end of his run with Marvel stuff, if Reed Richards would take over that, and between him and Suri, that would be an incredible, like, meeting
But
of the minds.
who would play him?
John
though?
Krasinski.
I know. I was thinking about
There,
that too.
there are talks about that.
Yeah, have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
That picture with
It
him.
looks
and the-
good. I'd
Yeah.
believe it. I think it'd be great.
Even without the beard, honestly. I mean, he can
No,
do
he
either
can
way.
keep the
He can
beard.
do either
Keep
way.
the beard.
But, I still think they're simmering a little bit from how awful Fan Four Stick was, how big of a flop that was.
Yeah, but I feel that both of those
But people want it so
Yeah.
bad. But which is what I don't understand is like it
and
would have
Marvel's
been.
not taking over it.
I mean,
ever.
okay, so I think the Marvel Sony deal is still kind of in
Oh,
works.
okay.
Yeah, because they had to push their X-Men movies back because of it.
Yeah, which they need to relax on the X-Men for a while.
That's what I was
Yeah.
But with Fantastic Four, they're such a huge part of the Marvel universe, like we talked about in that podcast couple weeks and weeks ago.
Yeah.
Probably like a month ago now. You can only go so long without having them in there. It's got to happen soon.
I think because I heard something that they're going to be a part of Phase 4, or after Phase 4, actually.
And we just finished Phase 4 right now.
No,
right? Or we're going into it.
We're going into Phase
Okay.
4.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is just
actually, I think Phase 4 is going to be beginning with the new Avengers, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, or Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even then, I can't remember what interview it was. Maybe it was the Russo brothers, or maybe it was Kevin Feige. I don't know. But they were saying how Marvel, after all of this stuff ends, Marvel's gonna start to go very like in a cosmic direction, which is where you get the Silver Surfer and Captain Marvel and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm just itching to see the Fantastic Four referenced in some kind of way. Even if they would have just said, if they were talking about what Tony had been up to, and he was like, "Oh, I got to push my reading with Dr. Richards, or like with Reed Richards, or like I have a meeting at the Baxter Building." It would have been nice to have something referencing.
I still think they bought the Avengers Tower.
They probably did.
I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
And I still think
it makes so much sense too.
And I mean, I think I mentioned it on the last podcast actually. But remember when I told you about that fan theory that I heard from Kevin Smith's podcast?
Yeah.
And one of the guys who asked one of the questions to Kevin and Mark on Fat Man on Batman, they were talking about how, so they get the time stone, they go back in time, they fix things, they go back to present day in time, and instead of Avengers Tower, it's Fantastic Four Tower. I still, I know they won't do that, but I still think that'd be so dope.
Yeah,
That
we
would be
fixed all the
interesting if they did
Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah, good luck. But since we're talking about Captain Marvel, another thing I had is, do you guys know anything about the Skrulls?
Oh yes, yeah, because that's gonna be her villain in the movie. But that's the Fantastic Four villains, though, which I was.
Well, actually, that's it's more of a Captain Marvel thing, because they're like, the Skrulls come from, I think, to my knowledge, they come from an offshoot of the Kree, which is like what Ronin is and stuff like that, from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And what makes them special? Do you know anything about them, Ethan?
No, I do not.
So the Skrulls are like this hyper advanced alien race, and they are really involved with Fantastic Four and Captain Marvel,
Okay.
Miss Marvel, whatever you want to call it.
Miss Marvel.
But there's this thing called a super scroll, which they genetically altered it, and it has all of the powers of the Avengers.
Oh, really?
Including like the Human Torch.
Fantastic Four.
Holy crap.
Oh yeah, excuse me, Fantastic Four.
Well, okay.
But the scrolls also have the ability to shapeshift and mimic the powers of certain.
That's interesting.
So they can like merge with an Avenger, like so let's say Captain America. Then they'll take over the appearance of Captain America.
Okay.
And eventually it turns into like this guessing game of like, we know that the scrolls exist. They find out that they can impersonate other superheroes or other people, and so now they don't know who's who.
Yeah, because that was a big comment. That wasn't Secret Wars, was it?
I think it was Secret Wars.
That sounds really
because
cool.
like my thing was like I was hoping they wouldn't bring the scrolls in anytime soon because that'd be like a whole another big like Avengers film.
Yeah. I think once this whole Infinity War thing blows over, and then you get more like standalone movies with Captain Marvel, and then more Ant-Man, and then moving on more Black Panther, more Spider-Man, then you bring in another big story like the Skrulls. I mean that's to me with Captain Marvel, and then this deal with Sony, that's got to be the next logical big story that they go for.
Yeah, I want to see a Marvel like X-Men, but like I'm with you though. I'm kind of done with X-Men.
See,
for
that's
a while.
what makes me sad though, because I really love the X-Men, but like, dude, we've had so many movies, so many movies, more than even the Marvel movies,
exactly,
which is saying something.
And I'm not ready to see another Wolverine yet,
Oh
honestly,
no,
because I still love Hugh
good luck
Jackman.
outdoing Hugh Jackman, man. It's kind of like whenever in 1989 when they had that Batman movie come out, and actually, okay, so I was listening to the thing with Mark Hamill. And right after that movie came out in 1989, in the early 90s, they were doing Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that when Mark Hamill went and auditioned for the Joker, they asked him to audition. He went in, then he left the audition thinking that, they're not going to hire Luke Skywalker to be the Joker. There's no way. Obviously, he got the job. But Mark Hamill had said that one of his friends, he got back from the audition, and one of his friends had said, like, man, that's pretty ballsy, because I wouldn't want to have to follow Jack Nicholson in anything. And he was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So I feel bad for whoever has to take over the Wolverine mantle after Hugh Jackman, because good luck, dude.
I mean, in my opinion, I think Mark Hamill was a better Joker than Jack
Nicholson.
Even though Jack Nicholson was fantastic.
Mark Hamill's my favorite Joker by far.
Right. And he's stuck around more, if you think about it.
And his laugh is just better.
Oh, yeah. So what else do you have on your list?
I mean, that's kind of all of it. I mean, again, there's like the future, like where can Marvel go from here, which like we just talked about a little bit with the Skrulls, and then
could they go with Galactics?
Yeah, well, I mean, they have to bring in Fantastic Four for that as well.
Yeah, that's true. Okay,
but then again, like I think they have to get away from like the big bad destroying the universe thing.
Yeah, that's
because now that Thanos has done it, Galactic, his name is
the same thing.
He's the destroyer of worlds.
But I hope they save Galactus for a while, because I mean he's like the biggest, baddest dude out there. I mean,
he is the Marvel villain.
Yeah, because I hope
so
we
Megatron.
Get other.
Oh my God.
I'm saying, man, that could be the new thing.
I hope not.
Just bring those two, Michael Bay.
I don't want anything.
Dude, no, it would be amazing. It would be amazing.
If Marvel does anything with Michael Bay, it'll just be explosion after explosion.
Well,
Michael Bay explodes the whole Marvel universe.
I'm just saying that crossover's really good.
And the movie starts, you see like the flips and the comic books. Marvel Studios, year 20, and then it's just like Robert Downey Jr. is like an 80-year-old man now. Yeah. He's like Iron Man. Everyone's dead.
And Linkin Park comes on.
Oh, they can't do that anymore.
Boom, boom, beep, 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 beep.
Well, guys, okay, so if you were to rate this movie, what would you guys give it?
Like in a number scale, or like in the whole Marvel universe?
Ooh, that's too difficult.
Okay, we can do both. Because
it's been a
long
time.
Within the Marvel universe, it is up there, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think I like it a little bit better than Black Panther, just because of there's a lot of character stuff, and there's just the story is just so insane.
I would totally agree with that.
It may have to. I think it's my number one for all of the Marvel universe.
But
not
also,
only, I mean, it's the culmination of everything.
Yeah.
But it's just like it's just massive. Yeah. And other than like. Here's the thing, like the Black Order, them not doing that justice is such a small thing, and the Guardians being kind of dumb because of like the sheer size of the movie and all the characters is kind of a small thing.
Oh, that's another thing I was gonna bring up. I like how they wrote Thor in this movie because this is how I wanted him, because in Ragnarok he was just like the stand-up comedian, but in this one he was more like down to earth because you see the evolution of him. You know, he's like as God, blah blah blah. Then you know he meets the Avengers. You know, he kind of has he's getting he's got
more
a
of
little
a
bit
humble.
He's more humble, and he's kind of like talking. He's trying to talk like the Earthlings do and all that. So he's got more of a personality now, but he's still like this Asgardian and all that.
Yeah.
So I like that. I really did. Ragnarok, he was a little too silly, especially Hulk. My gosh, but I like.
They're
how,
always gonna be
I
funny
like how
with
they
Hulk, though.
Wrote.
I'm just saying.
Okay, not in Ragnarok though. Ragnarok, he was just like this. He's the big green stand-up comedian.
Here's the thing that's interesting about Ragnarok is that the reason why it gets such mixed, it was received really in weird ways, was because it was just so unbelievably different from the other two.
Yeah.
Like the first one that was directed by Kenneth Branagh. That Thor, not only was it kind of draggy,
boring, man.
but it is an origin story, so it's already kind of hard to sit through because we already all know, most of us anyway.
Most of us.
Yeah.
He just looks back in a mirror.
He's like, damn it.
Yeah. When did I get here?
No, but like it was kind of slow, but it was still like a pretty solid movie. And then The Dark World was just like The Dark World had some. It could have been done better because I really liked the whole Malekith thing, but they dropped the ball on that. And Ragnarok was just so different. The comedy level was through the roof, and the characters, even just the way they wrote it was just different. And I know that was Taika Waititi's vision for what he wanted Thor to be, which is awesome. And I did really enjoy the movie. But it was just so different. It was almost hard to kind of be like, wait, is this even in the universe? Like, I don't. It was just kind of sometimes hard to sit with.
But also, like, it made me intrigued to Thor's character.
Yeah.
Or to the character. Because
it made him a lot more human, I think.
The same thing, like, with Captain America. I still haven't had any type of, like, want or need to go watch his other movies, except...
man, dude. Oh, those
I really haven't.
Dude, Winter Soldier's
I've seen Winter Soldier.
Great movie.
It is.
It was all right. I didn't really like it that much.
The whole
Personally.
twist.
What the five fingers say to the face?
But
man, I don't know. Like there's so much great things that happen in the Marvel universe. So I mean, and here's the thing: there's always gonna be bad stuff in every movie.
right, yeah.
But for Infinity War specifically, the things that I didn't like is like maybe a 1% of the overall movie. Like very few people in like the regular scheme of things would know who the Black Order even is. Unless you like really go digging through it or look up stuff on YouTube. You're not gonna really know. You know? And then and like Captain Marvel and like the Skrulls, you're not gonna know about that. You know, the Guardians of the Galaxy being maybe a little too stupid in this movie, you wouldn't realize that that's not really how they're supposed to be unless you've read comic books or something like that, because they're kind of obscure until they were brought into the Marvel universe. You know, so those things are so small that the overall movie was just great.
Okay.
And what they did with Thanos was just brilliant.
Yes, I will agree.
Thanos was well worth the 10-year wait.
Yes.
I will say that he was well worth it.
Yes.
I was thinking they were going to drop the ball on him, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I was super
so
surprised.
Happy. Yeah,
They actually did so well.
With how powerful they made him, and like they made you care about him, and yet he's like basically a god, but like also kind of a vulnerable, kind of sad man. Like, you know, it was great. Great stuff.
So, number score, what would you give it?
Out of like what, like 1 to 10?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
Yeah, like an 8.5, maybe a 9. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Okay.
I concur with that.
I could see that.
What about you? 2.
Okay, let's see. So
2. Black Panther 10.
Okay, well here's the thing though, because both of these movies. Okay,
I'm right.
Yeah.
Well, no. Here's the thing though, because Black Panther was one of the first like superhero movies I was emotionally attached with.
I feel that.
And that was one of the only movies I've seen more than once. And plus, oh my gosh, I love the director, Ryan Coogler. He's fantastic.
So great.
And you know, that movie was, you know, it spoke to me emotionally. Infinity War, my God, it was just like a great movie. And like I said earlier, it's like the Empire Strikes Back of our time. It feels like.
Yeah. It's
but
actually a really
thing,
great comparison when you think about it.
But my thing with the another thing with Infinity War is that I'm just gonna get into it right now.
Mm.
My father passed away, and this is something me and him would have went to go see. And I just think this movie came out like at a perfect time for me because I was just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man, things were just rough. So yeah, and this came out, and oh man, it just put me in such a good mood. It was just like it just like not just that, it just gave me hope. And it also was just like it just inspired me. It just made me want to go out and start filming more and all that.
Plus, it gives you more to look forward to in the future. Because
Oh yeah,
I mean, let's be honest. Like, yes, Disney is a machine, and they run basically all of Hollywood and anything now.
Yeah.
But
The
you know
mouse
what
man.
they've done with these movies is like I mean, I'm not even like a filmmaker by any stretch of the imagination, so I can't even imagine what this is like coming from someone who has more expertise like you guys. But like the sheer scope of what the sheer scope of what they've done with this genre and with all of the character work and the lore of Marvel Comics is just unprecedented. It's insane. I went to like in 2008. I remember seeing Iron Man in theaters, and when I left the movie, I was like, "Oh, there's so much that they can do." Because being a huge, obviously, like I'm a huge comic book fan. I know so much about it, and I grew up with the books, and I have a collection with my uncle that's in Rhode Island, and oh man, so many summers I've spent from when I was like born up until I was like 11 or 12 of just always going every summer and learning about that stuff. To have that realized onto the big screen.
that's what I was like. 'Cause my uncle, he's a big comic book guy. He just makes comic books now. I mean,
Yeah, and which is like just nuts. So especially as a fan and someone who doesn't know about movies, it's just insane the level they brought it to. And that like that kind of fandom has just kind of risen out of pop culture to become like the tip top of all that is Hollywood nowadays.
Yeah.
Although I do miss the days where you had more original movies coming out.
And just to think that the end credit scenes on the first Iron Man movie where he meets Nick Fury, to think that was all just a gag.
Yeah, the Avengers Initiative.
Like that was all just a gag.
Wasn't Iron Man just supposed to be a one-off?
Yeah, it was just supposed to be a one-off, and then we got Incredible Hulk. But then they're like, "Oh, we can tie those two together." They put Robert Downey Jr.
at the end
and talked to Thunderbolt
which
Ross.
people don't realize that was the first time that a movie had ever done something like that. And I remember when the Incredible Hulk came out because they came out the same year. I think we actually looked this up last time. But like, man,
Onto the fight.
I was wrong. Okay,
I get it. When I saw the Incredible Hulk,
Always gotta bring it up.
whenever I saw the Incredible Hulk in theaters, and then Robert Downey Jr. showed up, I was like, "What the."
Yeah,
They're in the same. It's the same thing. It's all one thing now. This is nuts. I couldn't believe it. And I was freaking out. And like here we are 10 years later, and so much has happened. So it's really kind of special to me. And I'm really close to that kind of stuff. So it's really a big deal for me to see all this kind of come to fruition.
Yeah. So I don't know if I can actually put Infinity War as my number one. It might be my number two.
Because
Black Panther's
Ragnarok's number
Yeah,
one.
Black Panther would be number one for me.
Not Ragnarok.
Because, like I said, I mean, that's one of the first movies I've, emotionally is attached to me.
It's so hard to pick between those two movies, though. They're so good.
But I think, and then also I did love Civil War. That was like, oh my God. That movie was near perfect to me, to be honest.
And Winter Soldier was amazing as well.
I like Captain America. Captain America was like the only trilogy that was like good, better. Like it just kept getting better and better.
Dude, oh man.
Thor, lame, wackest.
No.
I knew that would trick me.
So good.
Well, Thor is like lame, wackest, and then
Oh my
lame.
God, so good.
I think it's just because you really like Taika
I know.
Waititi.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
But it was just so fun. Like I just rewatched it again for like the 5th time, and it's just like that's the type of movie that I enjoy personally. In my opinion.
Well, that's what's great is that I think like anybody can go see these movies and they
be
can
happy.
really draw something out that they really like enjoy. Whether it's like a deep emotional connection or just being a longtime super fan, or you enjoy the director and what they've done with their little cut of the Marvel pie,
Yeah.
Okay, another thing that I didn't bring this up when we were talking about it, but another thing I liked about Infinity War is that you could sell, or you know how all the Marvel movies have their own style. All that was implemented. With each.
Yeah. When you were with the Guardians, it felt like a Guardians movie.
Right.
When you were like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm so glad you brought that up. That's such a great point. Because when Thor comes back out of the Bifrost with the new hammer and stuff, I was like, oh, I'm in a Thor. Oh, it's time. Like he's gonna wreck So many people. It was great. And you're in your Wakanda. So then when you go back and you're with Shuri and you're with T'Challa and stuff, you're like, oh, here I'm back in Black Panther,
Right.
which is so that kind of dynamic. They pulled it off so well,
did.
and the different combinations of characters. It was very well done how they switched between the different groups and the odd pairings within those groups.
Yeah. There are a few characters I wish got more screen time because
Black
I know
Widow.
Captain America.
Rhodey.
Yeah, that's what's up.
It was a joke.
No, I don't care.
It was a. Do I have
All
to?
right.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll get that.
Thank you.
That was awkward.
I don't care.
Okay.
I love Rhodey.
But yeah, I don't think Captain America got enough screen time, to be honest.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Because like every time he talked, he was like always like
My
a
name is
3-word
Steve.
Yeah, no, that was like the longest sentence that he had.
I am Steve.
Yeah. I thought I felt like they were in space a lot
Yeah.
in the movie, like a little too much. I would like to have seen more stuff on Earth.
They had to go places.
Yeah. Also, I mean, I know they probably wouldn't have given him much screen time, but Black Panther, that's my boy.
I think the only reason why he didn't get more screen time is because we just had the movie.
Yeah.
And that's understandable too.
Yeah.
I was just hoping.
Bias.
But, yeah. A little biased.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, we still have yet to see Iron and Captain America make up for what happened in Civil War.
Yeah.
I think
They
that's
did-
going to be in the next one.
I mean, it has to be because now that they're the only ones that are left, they got to figure out what to do. And like, they did not have one scene together the entire movie.
Oh my God. Yeah, you're right. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
So
yeah, because that's what I was waiting for. Because that's why I was like, guys, it's okay. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Yeah. And if you think about it, like, there's still so much that's left unsaid because Iron Man isn't even the one who called Steve Rogers in the first place. It was the Hulk. So,
But it was on his phone.
right, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I
like,
know.
I just imagine Steve just picking up like, Tony.
what is it, babe?
It's Bruce.
Oh.
I love that all of the voices that when you voice someone, it's always the same. It's me, Bruce. It's like so awkward.
It's my signature.
It's so great.
So,
Starscream, Skeletor, Bruce Banner, they're all the same guy.
okay, well, pretty much Starscream and Skeletor sound the same.
Yeah, I
But-
know.
Hey, man!
Yeah. And also, I thought the pacing was a little off. It wasn't off in the movie, but I felt like they would spend too much time with a certain group,
Yeah.
a lot of time with them, and then they would like go to another one, and then like
For a short
they bring
amount
you
of
back to a
time.
group that you totally forgot about because they were.
There's so
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
It was a big, it was a
so
big
much.
freaking movie.
If you, I mean, honestly, with what they had to work with, I'm still impressed that they did it as well as they did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
as many characters you had to work with and different, like, the two main plots with, like, Iron Man and his group and then Captain America and his group, but then there's all these different subsets of groups. Like, then you had, like, the whole Thor and Rocket thing. And it was just, there was so much happening.
Right.
So the fact that they were even able to keep up, and, I mean, agreed, the pacing wasn't perfect, but it was still, like, decent, especially compared to some other movies. Green Lantern. You know, like they did a
Thor
prep
BB soups. What?
I don't want to talk about DC. I'm still really
Yeah.
upset about that.
But did I show
I
you
do
guys
wanna
that
talk to
meme
you
with
about
them
something.
with the DC logo fading away?
Yes. With Thanos.
good. That was
Oh,
good.
it was so great.
I do want to talk to you about something after this podcast, which is I was talking to you about it too in the car.
I mean, why not just?
Okay, have you seen the new DC sci-fi original show that they're doing, Krypton?
No.
You need to watch it. It's so good.
Isn't it like Superman's grandfather?
Yeah, it's Seg.
Yeah.
Yeah, over on Krypton.
Yeah.
It's
where
really
is it? Adam Strange comes back.
Yeah, Adam Strange comes back
Yeah.
and
tells him
tells
about the future of Kal-El. You must save him.
yeah, and it's really good.
Here's
Like,
his
I've-
cape. If the cape fades away, he will be gone from existence.
Okay, not like that, but yes.
Starscream, Lord, dang it. I just want
Let's tone it down a bit.
I
It's his
want.
coffee, man.
Dude, this has been empty for a long time.
Oh,
No, I'm.
But-
I need Starscream to be in everything.
Yeah, and where's Shaq? What does Shaq think about the movie?
Shaq doesn't go see movies. Shaq is Black Thanos. If you
I
think
just
about
want
it.
to see him snap. Once I make the snap, everything will be gone.
No, everything gold.
Oh, Lisa not feeling good. Wow,
No, I want to see that gone. I want to see him gone.
I want to see you gone.
Oh damn!
I see how it is.
Y'all about to fade away more than Kobe in the playoffs.
You just,
Oh my gosh.
he just does that, and then just everyone's like,
Instead of a snap, he just
Swish, swish.
Kobe.
then everyone just comes back because he misses. It's like, damn it.
Should have practiced those free throws.
But if I
Where's
have
the
to give,
general when you need it?
if I have to give Infinity War a rating, I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10.
Surprisingly low.
JK, I'm gonna give it a nice 9 out of 10 to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that
see.
because but despite the flaws that it had, it was well worth the wait.
Yeah.
Everything was
Yeah.
all the interactions. The interactions were just great,
Yeah.
especially when Thor was like, he would always call Rocket. He would call him
The rabbit.
The rabbit. That killed me every time. And then freaking, I love the whole Doctor Strange and Tony Stark button heads and all that.
Yeah, well, because
Which
like
I
Tony Stark
love.
is still like a little ignorant, and Doctor Strange kind of found his way out of that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You said at the top of the podcast that you were gonna explain why you thought that this was like the Empire Strikes Back of our generation, because I really like how you said that, because I wasn't thinking of it like that, but now that you've said it and I've been kind of mulling it over in my mind, it really is like that. So I was
Yeah.
wondering if you would like expand on that a little bit.
Okay. The reason I say that is because when Empire Strikes Back came out, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
The first Star Wars was amazing. Everyone was just in love with it. It was just something they've never seen before.
Right.
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back comes out, it's even better. And, people are still really pumped, but then they don't see this ending because, we're all used to, the good guys are going to win.
The
in the
I am
end.
your father, the
Yeah.
big twist.
Yeah, the big twist. And then that, like you said earlier, the good guys lose.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, I feel like we're in the same situation. These Marvel movies, they're the Star Wars of our generation, I feel.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
these are just really big deals. And then, we've been waiting 10 years. We got all these movies coming at us.
Yeah.
And all finally comes together. And we're just hoping for, like, this big old, the heroes are going to win in the end. Because they already said earlier, they're like, we're not, going to have a part 2 to Infinity War anymore. So then, we're watching the movie. All of a sudden, oh, crap. Okay, well, Black Panther's gone. Half the freaking new characters are gone. Spider-Man is
Right.
Strange. They're all leaving. And this is when in the movie I was like, okay, guys, relax. It's not over yet. Because, yeah. And then because, like, the movie was so thrilling, and because time went by really fast. And I'm just like, we're probably just an hour in. It was over.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, this is the Empire Strikes Back of our time, because we didn't see that ending coming, because we knew someone important was gonna die. We didn't know it was gonna be a whole freaking
Cast.
bloodbath of
Yeah.
freaking people dying. So yeah, it was a nice twist, and it was just like the good guys didn't win, because we can't.
Yeah.
And that's also
There's
very
something
important.
so satisfying about that
Yeah.
aspect of movie making, because I feel like, again, coming from someone who's not a filmmaker or doesn't really know anything about it, like most movies are like, okay, you have your protagonist, he goes through some stuff, you have an antagonist who is trying to prevent the protagonist from whatever, they have a big battle at the climax, and then the protagonist ends up on top. Happy ending. But when that doesn't happen,
That throws you in for a loop.
and here's the thing: everyone knew people were gonna die at the end of the movie, so we knew it was coming, and it still all of us up.
Yeah.
That's how you know it's a good movie, when
Yeah.
you could tell.
But we did, because we thought it was just gonna be someone big, because we were always debating Cap or Iron Man.
Yeah.
And then, but when they stabbed Iron Man, I was like, I won. I knew he was gonna die.
And then he still didn't.
Yeah, he didn't die. And
That was a troll. I
That
feel like they did
was-
that on
it
purpose.
really
Like,
was.
we're gonna make you think he's dead,
Yeah.
but then we're gonna
Big
kill
old freaking-
literally everyone else.
Yeah.
Like it was
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, and
Real rough.
And I love
It's
I
so
love it
good,
because
though.
it's just like, it's really grounded in reality. It's like, we don't always win. That's the big lesson I got out of
Yeah.
Empire Strikes Back, and that's what I'm getting here. So we don't always win. Things don't always go our way,
Right.
and we have to be
Ready to adapt.
Yeah. And that's what they're kind of going to be gearing up for in the next one, is because they're going to retaliate. They got to, this is their reaction to
Return
half
of the Jedi.
universe. Yeah, half the universe is gone.
Is it gonna
And
be
how
called-
are we going to?
What if it was called
gonna
that?
do it?
The Avengers Return of the Jedi. Would be good. I'd go see it.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube of like people who see Empire Strikes Back for the first time, and then when Darth Vader says, "No, I am your father," they're like, "Wait, no."
I always wanted to see. I always wanted to see like the original viewing of like the first showing of it, and I wanted to see like people's reaction to that in the crowd.
I think I asked my parents about that one time because I asked my mom because my mom was born. She probably wouldn't like me saying it, but my mom was 17 when the original Star Wars came out. Right?
Math.
Yeah, because Star Wars came out in 77. My mom was born in 1960.
Okay.
So she was 17 when that movie came out. So she was saying, I asked her one day, because I think it was after Episode 7. You know, Star Wars was back at the height of pop culture. And I was like, so what was it like, you know, being like a young person when that came out? Like, what, like that must have been huge. And she was like, you don't understand. Like, that was a phenomenon on a scale that I don't even know if that'll even happen again. I think we're close with this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Actually, this may have even surpassed it because look how much hype is around these last 10 years movies.
Right.
But she was just like, it was just so insane because you had never seen a movie like that before. You'd gotten close with like Buck Rogers and stuff like that, old TV shows and some Star Trek maybe, I don't know. But like on that kind of a scale, it was just nuts. The visual effects were just, for the time, were just amazing, and there was just the story was just very thrilling.
I still think it holds up too,
and it really does.
Yeah.
And then she was saying, I was like, so when Empire Strikes Back happened, what was that like? And she was like, you know, people were losing their minds over the fact that the main good guy, his dad was the guy who was out to like ruin the whole universe. And they hadn't really given any inclination of that up until that point where he says, "No, I'm your father." It's like there's no setup. There was no like end credit scene to say, "Oh, you know, you used to be a Skywalker." There was nothing like that. It was just a bomb, like just boom, drop the mic right there. You're done. And then like maybe not even like 10 minutes later, the movie's over. You know, big battle. No, I'm your father. He falls down and they lose. And the movie's over. Yeah. So my mom and I asked my dad too, and they were like, you know, that movie ended, and then people immediately walked out like, we gotta know, like, what's going on.
Exactly.
Which
and
is
that's good storytelling.
Right. And people feel the same way with this movie, and I think it's great. And if I'm honest, I never thought that not only would these movies get made, but that we would have movies on that kind of scale that would like really have a huge effect and be kind of felt over the entire globe.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what these Marvel movies have become, specifically this movie. So it's, again, referring to what we were talking about earlier, it's like really special in that kind of way.
Yeah, because I remember when I was a kid, back in like 8th grade, me and my friend, you know, we were big Marvel comic guys in general.
Yeah.
And I remember we'd always go on YouTube and be like, man, I wonder who could play Thor and all that. And then we'd like look up these these videos like fan castings for the Avengers and all that. And then here we are now.
Yeah.
It's just insane, you know, how far we've come in these 10 years.
Yeah.
And it's flew by so fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Ant-Man. We got an Ant-Man movie. He's like the last person I would think would ever get a movie.
Yeah. Even Guardians of the Galaxy, which are even more obscure than him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, which is just like, it's insane.
Yeah. And here we are now, all of them just coming together. And
Hopefully for more years to come.
I hope to God. My thing is, I really want them in the next Avengers film. I want them to have everyone together, not all spaced out, but not like for the whole movie.
Oh, you know
like,
they're gonna do it.
Like towards the end,
when they
go
get together with Thanos, like for the actual final showdown or whatever, there's no way they're not gonna do it. It's what everyone's waiting to see. I think that's why everyone's so excited. Like whenever they did that Marvel like family photo, and it was all the actors and Stan Lee and Kevin Feige and Robert Downey Jr. in the middle, but it was everybody. Yeah, I think everyone was like, because it was like all 64 fucking people, and everyone was like, I need to see.
Didn't they miss somebody?
I think some people even couldn't be there.
Yeah,
which is just absurd. You know,
the
scope of that movie is just insane.
As long as I see Ant-Man in the next one, I'm fine. I wonder if they're gonna actually erase them in the next one. In their movie.
See, I that's what I was wondering, because I know that with Ant-Man, it's supposed to be like right after the events of Civil War, but I'm kind of hoping that, I hope it's like noticeably after Civil War. So then, like maybe at the end of the movie, well, actually that was one of the theories that I'm glad you segued into that. But they said that the one theory is that at the end of Ant-Man, because Ant-Man deals with like the quantum zone.
That's what
So-
he's gonna be in there when they're trying to.
And so it's not going to affect him.
Yeah.
So then when he and the Wasp come out of like the quantum zone that's like small, like inside of atoms and stuff, they come out of the quantum zone, and yet like then half the population is gone. And that's when he meets up with the OG Avengers, and he's like, "What the like? What happened?"
Right.
Which
I'm
would be
so
really
excited for
interesting.
this
Quick question.
movie.
How does he not remember how he got out of the quantum zone
What do you mean?
in the first movie? Was that the quantum zone?
I don't know if it's actually called the quantum zone. I don't think so.
Where was it?
No,
Why
he-
didn't he tell him
in the movie
how
they
he
call
got
it going
out?
subatomic.
Yeah, subatomic. I'm sorry. But how was he not able to tell?
Hank Pym.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Oh, how did he get out? I can't
Because
remember.
Well,
he uses the disc.
He uses
that
the
makes
disc.
him grow.
Yeah,
and
but he doesn't ever tell him. I can't remember the main guy.
Hank
Hank
Pym.
Pym.
Hank Pym.
Yeah. Well, Scott Lang is Paul Rudd.
Right,
and
right,
Hank
right.
Pym is
Okay.
Michael Douglas.
Yeah, Michael Douglas. I don't remember because he was because he asked him that.
I'm
question.
sure he explains it. But there's no way he doesn't.
I'm
But-
rewatching that.
But actually, maybe he doesn't even know that he went subatomic. Maybe
maybe that might be it. Okay.
well, because he went subatomic, like you said later on in the film.
towards the very end of
Yeah.
that film. Yeah.
And then at the end of the film, it's in his house, and like his house has a big hole in it. with,
well, it's
like,
not at his house. It's at
right.
his,
the
stepfather's house
yeah,
or
whatever.
whatever. Yeah.
Maybe they didn't have a chance to talk about it at the end of the film because then he's just like with his daughter and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, 'cause
Right.
I'm pretty sure we would have known.
It's gonna get brought up in the
yeah.
next movie.
Right.
For sure.
I was just wondering why they didn't
When does that come out, by the way?
announce it at that point.
Is it June or July?
It's really soon. It's literally I think it's June.
I can look it up.
No, I can look it up faster.
God damn it! Anthony opened up his phone and we kind of forgot about it, and it's literally just a picture of Grimace as Thanos. I need you to set that as your background. That's the best background I've ever seen.
July 6th.
That's really soon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's close to my birthday.
And then what's it called? Oh, Deadpool comes out, so we all got to see that.
Yeah, May 28th
I'm
or
really
something like
excited
that.
for that.
No, May 18th.
Man, we're gonna have a lot of work to do over the summer because
Yeah.
we're gonna have
Han Solo's May
Deadpool.
25th.
we're gonna have Solo, and then we're gonna have Ant-Man.
Yeah.
Oh,
I won't be here
so-
for Ant-Man. I'll be at my thing.
It'll
Anyway.
it'll be a podcast of two.
Yeah.
I'm sad.
I'm sorry.
Where will you be?
I'm going to be here somewhere.
I'm gonna be here, but not with you guys. I'm doing
I'll be
another
here,
podcast
but
next
I just
door.
don't care about you guys.
You're mean. You don't like Thor Ragnarok.
You don't like Transformers. I don't like you. My name's Ethan.
Dude, I swear.
My name's Ethan.
If you guys read
I am
that
Groot.
comic, it is so good. It is
Dude,
so
I
good.
feel like that's like the only comic
I'm
you've
d-
ever read in your entire
It
life.
Here's the
has.
thing: the Transformers.
No, because I read some Arkham Knight ones, but
the Transformers, like
read
the
those?
old cartoon, is good,
yeah.
and like some of the comics are good.
Starscream.
But man, the movies are just rough.
Well, no. I could
Revenge of the
I
Fallen.
could totally see that, but I will
Are you Sam Witwicky? That's so dumb.
reading
You want to call Sam with Wiki?
reading that comic.
Bumblebee, yeah, transform man.
Oh my god, I hate it.
when in the first one when Jazz is like, "Come on, big man," and then he just
in half?
rips him in half in like
the
2
only,
seconds.
The only black Autobot,
And he was
transformed,
honestly
period.
the coolest one. Like, let's.
Yeah, because he was that Pontiac.
Unfortunately, yeah, he was like a Pontiac, like the little. Oh no,
Yeah.
he was like a Saturn Sky or
Yeah,
whatever.
he was a Pontiac.
Was he a Pontiac?
Yeah, I remember I had a toy of him.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, if you would read that comic, it's really good.
I'll make sure to.
Nah, I'm
Have
Gucci.
I'm gonna let you borrow Dark Knight Returns, and then I'll show you a good comic.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
what a
okay.
great. Oh man.
Man, yeah. Oh, gosh, I need to go get some more. Actually,
Tomorrow.
I'm not getting. I'm not
tomorrow. Oh no! Well, yeah, no. Get
That's
it
probably
then.
your little
Yeah.
comic is probably gonna be the free comic anyways. So.
It'd be worth it. Oh man.
But yeah,
No, that came out like 2006, I think. Yeah.
Wait, what did?
That one?
Oh, your Transformer.
Yeah, the
comic.
amazing one. Yeah.
What's your
Best
score?
of the
Wait, Wiki. What's your score for Infinity War?
I said I concurred with him. 9 out of 10.
Why?
It was good, and I was intrigued.
It was
The second time, I was not very like.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored out. I fell asleep. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I
I fell
was
asleep.
falling asleep. I was
the very
uncomfortable. I was
beginning.
uncomfortable because of the pleather seats and the sticky people and the
But
people
I
talking.
fell asleep like during the second time that we saw it. But the first time that I saw it, I really enjoyed it, even though I saw it in 3D. But it was really good. It got me what I wanted. What I've been waiting for these 10 years as how we all have been. I am so excited to see what they are about to do with this next movie, and
it really kind of blows everything up because now that they've done all this Thanos stuff, there's like we were talking about the Skrulls and all this.
right.
There's so much they can do now. It's just unreal, and like who knows how long this like dynasty of Marvel movies is gonna continue.
Right.
We've already been through a decade, this year, and like this could go on for like another 10, 20 years.
Oh yeah.
And it could still even go further than that. Like, who knows?
Yeah, I could totally see them. They're gonna be gone. They're gonna be on for a while.
And that's what makes me sad is because, to be honest, I'm more of a DC Comics fan than Marvel Comics. I love Marvel Comics, but I like DC's characters more. And I wish
Watchmen is part of DC, right?
I think so.
Okay.
Now they are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think at first they were part of Dark Horse.
Okay, because I've read some of their stuff.
But they're trying to incorporate them now.
What's the name of the guy who wrote Watchmen?
Michael, not Michael Moore.
Alan Moore.
Alan Moore.
Yeah.
Alan Moore. He also did V for Vendetta, and he's very infamous for not letting people.
And he did the Swamp Thing. Oh my gosh. That was so good.
He's infamous for not letting people use the stuff that he's created because he just doesn't like what they do with them.
Right.
So even though V for Vendetta is amazing and Watchmen is also really great, he hates them. I think Alan Moore also did The Killing Joke, which he hated also.
Yeah, he did the Killing Joke.
Like he hates them in what?
He just doesn't like what people. He likes what he wrote, and if you don't do that, which most people don't exactly word for word, he doesn't like it because he had a certain vision.
Right.
But I really hope that DC figures it out because DC has some of. Dude, they have so many stories that would blow the Thanos Infinity stuff out of the water if they did it correctly. But unless they get someone like Kevin Feige to help them out,
I think they just need to reboot their whole.
Well, because they tried to push it too quickly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Wonder Woman was great,
and literally Justice League was the most forgettable movie I've ever seen.
Yes.
Which one? I'm sorry.
Justice League.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Which made me so sad. Like okay, so much like with Marvel, like DC Comics mean more to me than Marvel does, and to see those characters on screen was like honestly kind of like a dream come true in a lot of ways for me as a huge super fan, but also just a huge letdown. My favorite superhero of all time is the Flash, and
interesting choice.
And he just wasn't.
You didn't like that guy?
Well, Ezra Miller, first of all, he runs like a fucking idiot in that movie. It was just really pissed me off because he's like, which like
he was actually the only character I liked in that movie, to be honest.
No, I mean he played him well, but just overall it just wasn't great. And the Flash is a lot more powerful and interesting than people would think.
Man, he can do so much with this.
They made Aquaman for me interesting. Like I've never thought
I'm still not sold.
I'm not a huge fan of Dude Bro Aquaman.
No, me either.
The woo, okay,
yeah, I'm gonna drink a beer, slam it on the ground.
Aquaman.
I like it a little bit better than what we get in the comics, though.
Here's the thing. In the comics, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. There's like campy Super Friends Aquaman, which is like with the John DiMaggio outrageous, like the ridiculous campy. Then there's like this like woo, like Dude Bro Australian like surfer dude Aquaman. But in the comics, he was like a serious king.
If I can get like a Thor type of tone with Aquaman, I'd be fine with that. Yeah. Not like this like wild boy biker.
They gotta do better. They just have to do better.
They just need to keep doing Wonder Woman.
Because like the best writers ever were the guys who did the stuff for the animated series and all these animated movies, with the exception of some of these newer ones that have been like purposefully really campy that I'm not a huge fan of. But like Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, people who did like Frank Miller who wrote stories like that, Alan Moore, like those guys know what they're doing. Exactly. Give these characters to those guys who've been writing for these characters for years. Right. For years. And then work with...
Do they not do that?
Well, no. Because they would like give... I'm sure they give them to directors and writers who like will take home a book about like, history of Batman, tight. Read it over a weekend, come back and then write something.
I think they really just need to reboot everything.
Yeah. And if they work with those old writers and everything, it'll work so much better.
Because I thought Jeff Loeb was like the main.
Oh, Jeff Loeb,
the main guy in the cinema department now. It's either Jeff Loeb or Scott Snyder. Not Scott. Which one? Yeah, Scott Snyder. I think those two.
I think Scott Snyder might be kind of part of the problem. His style.
Not Zack Snyder.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. Oh no, I'm getting them confused.
Yeah.
Scott Snyder's great. Zack Snyder,
Yeah.
I think it's good. And here, the worst part is that, and I was actually talking with someone about this earlier, like this week actually, with Infinity War. But like, because Marvel has figured out this like perfect way of making movies that is just changed the way you make superhero movies now. If DC makes any movie, it's a lose-lose, because either it's going to seem like they're copying Marvel style, or that they're trying to be too different, and that they're not like Marvel. Yeah. Because like the two things you hear when you come out of like things like Justice League is, man, they're just so dark. They should do it more like Marvel. But then if they did it more like Marvel, they'd be like, why are they copying Marvel? Exactly. So it's like it's a lose-lose. It's a toss-up.
Yeah, and when they try to do something different and it really works out, because like with Suicide Squad, for example, we'll have a group of villains instead of heroes, which I do like Suicide Squad though. I actually think that's one of my.
I actually did enjoy that movie.
But I don't know, DC. I don't know what you got to do, but just
gotta fix it.
If they figure it out, like, there's so many great things they could do with the Justice League, and just all of those characters individually. If like with Batman and the Rich History, I would love to see the Red Hood, that whole Jason Todd storyline come out. I would love to see
Hush.
Yes. Yes, I would love to see Flashpoint and Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Flashpoint's actually a movie that's going to be Flash's first movie.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: you got to be really careful with that. That's such a famous DC story; it's really easy to ruin. But some people think that they're going to use Flashpoint, Ezra Miller as Flash going back in time, and then coming back, and that's how they do the retcon where everything has changed. And they start from ground zero with there.
That would be smart. They just need to get their formula down before they do that.
Yeah, and don't try to rush it. These things take time. There's a reason why Marvel has taken well over a decade to do all these movies. Going one by one. Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America, Thor 2, Captain America 2.
And they're not backtracking too. If something doesn't work, Hulk, they just won't touch it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with not having a Hulk movie.
Exactly.
There was 2, both of them not great. But yet what they've done with Hulk when he's in other people's movies has been phenomenal.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even
makes up there.
I mean, Infinity War was just okay with the Hulk.
Yeah.
But
I love that.
It was just Bruce Banner.
Right. But
I love that because we really don't get much of Bruce Banner. We mainly
that is
see
true.
the Hulk.
That is true.
And
But no, I'm just, these things take time, and DC could have just as great of a cinematic career as Marvel if they would just not try to compete. People will come out for it regardless.
Marvel just needs a competition.
I mean, yeah, really,
but when Disney kind of owns everything,
I mean, it's yeah.
Maybe they need to own it. So it will be good. You ever thought about that?
That's the last stone in the Mickey Gauntlet.
Instead of the Soul Stone, it's just DC Comics.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that'd be
now
nuts.
I own all of Hollywood. Whoa.
Did you get possessed by Disney for a second? Oh,
that's weird.
We gotta get out of here.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that was our thoughts on Infinity War. If you guys have your thoughts, put that down in the comments.
Among
and let
other
us
things.
Hear. So overall, I guess I said we pretty much liked it.
Yeah, good stuff. Movie. Yeah. Can't wait for what's the next one? Deadpool, I guess.
Ant-Man.
Deadpool 2.
Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool's first, then Solo, then Ant-Man.
Yeah, so look out for those.
Yeah,
as well.
What do we got? Anything coming up next week? What are we doing next week?
Good question.
We'll find out next week. No.
Well, stay tuned. After the break, we'll be back. Full circle.
Yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you for listening. Tune in next time, and we are going to have another great episode for you.
Fan
review.
Oh, gosh.
About that.
That'd be great. I wouldn't mind doing some video game stuff.
Yeah. Switch it up a little bit.
Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to Movieman Talks. If you enjoyed this episode, consider subscribing to our channel at Movieman Productions, or like our Facebook page at Movieman Productions.